What is going on, everybody? Hope everybody's doing great today. Another good day. Weather is beautiful outside, not too crazy. It's looking like it may be, I don't know, what did they say? Let me see what's the update. 80 degrees. Yeah, I love that type of weather, man. Anywhere between 75 and I guess 85 all year round, I'll take it. Yeah, so definitely a beautiful day today. It's going to be another heat wave on the East Coast for the next few days, so we got to enjoy it. Those probably be the last days of summer, so enjoy it while you can, especially if you're in the New York area. Shout out to the chat. Appreciate y'all as always. Hope everybody's doing well. Let me say what's up to a couple people. Walter Blackman, as always, appreciate you, my guy. Hope everything's going good for you. David L in the building. Salute. Whoa. Clear that up. See, we're going with the morning cup of Joe, but this is back to the hot Joe. So pause. Or Joanne, either way. Pudge is in the building. Knicks are nice. CAA affiliate. That's good. Appreciate you. Andy N is in the building. Salute, my brother. Appreciate you. And listen, just so, let me just say this. I don't think I'm too cool for school. You see me up here. I'm on my you'll never find. I'm not that guy. I'm not that guy. It's just that for whatever reason, like 2-3 days ago, I woke up and my eye was all, Puff Daddy. I don't know what was going on. I was like, take that, take that, take that. Why am I doing this? Take that, take that, take that. I started doing the puffy dance. I'm like, what am I doing? Yeah, my left eye or whatever is swollen. So I don't know if I got an allergic reaction to something, but it is what it is. Started freaking out. I was like, uh-oh, I don't know what's happening. Had to take some tests and, make sure we're good, but we'll see. I guess the body will heal itself and, like usual. I don't know what I'm allergic to, but it is what it is. Shout out to Dwayne Dennis in the building. Appreciate you, Dwayne. Always good to see you. Okay, I got you, Andy. On the way. Julian Blum is in the building. He says, can you separate RJ from JB in the title? Thanks. Bad Nights is RJ, baby. I hear you. I wanted to be fair. You know what I mean? Like, we talk about bad nights. I just want to talk about the fact that they both had bad nights in difficult games. Although one team won, the other team lost, but I don't want it to seem it's like a hate on RJ. It's not. It's just, I'm pointing out something that took place, and in the fact that it took place, we look at what happened in the end, what was the end result. But I hear you though. I hear you. And salute to you, my brother. JJ in the building. Happy Saturday to you. I hope you're doing well, bro. Always good to see you. Good morning. Good morning to my guy, Kareem Grant. What up, twin? What's good? Appreciate you, bro. Hope you're doing well. My guy, Staffadan in the more fire rhythm beats. Don't let them fool you. Oh no. Okay, I'm done. And look at that, guys. You see it, huh? You've been asking. There he is. You've been asking about him. I know he's already kind of came back and popped up on the show and stuff, and so you all see him now. But there he is. There he is. What up, D's World of Hoops? Salute to you, my brother. Hope you're doing well as always. Good to see you back. Thank you for the generous super chat, Mr. Walter Blackman. Thank you as always. I appreciate it. You don't have to do it. I appreciate that you do it. Yeah, but I just can't thank you enough for the contributions you have made since you found us on YouTube and been a avid listener and supporter of the show. So thank you once again, Walter. Yeah, I think I do need to kind of get back into the whole thing. You kind of take a pause because things get difficult. I ain't gonna lie to you. Life is difficult. Work, family, all that whole stuff. You got to deal with things. But the other thing, even when it comes to content creation and doing a YouTube show, like trying to grow the show. Like, guys, if you don't know, YouTube doesn't pay a lot of money. Like the ad revenue that they talk about is really for bigger YouTubers. Like you got to be making 100,000. You got to have 100,000 supporters and get 100,000 type views on all your videos for people to look at the ad. Because every time you view an ad on YouTube, the longer you watch the ad, the more the person gets paid. And we're not talking about dollars. We're talking about like cents. But yeah, so every time you guys see an ad and you click on it right away, that YouTuber is not getting paid a lot for that ad. So if I try to watch an ad for like 15 seconds, and if I'm interested in it, I'll watch it for 30 seconds. And if it's a really good ad, I'll just let it play out. That's what I do, because I know it gets annoying, especially when the ads keep popping up too, because the longer the stream, the more ads you get, and the bigger the YouTuber, the more for whatever reason the ads come. Like I'm watching something like every 3 minutes, I'm like, another ad, damn. So in those cases, yeah, I do usually kind of click through, because I know those people are making good money. They got a lot of subscribers. It's a different thing. They get money from other avenues, they get other revenue streams. But yeah, I got to get back into kind of pursuing sponsorship deals. You guys know we tried a couple different things, had a couple small sponsorship deals, and they really only last for a short period of time. So you really kind of got to keep getting into that whole bag and keep putting yourself out there and keep finding different opportunities. So I guess I got to get back into that. So if anybody's looking for Manscaped, you're probably going to be over here. No, I'm just joking. I don't know. Anyway, I'm done. All right. Let me see here. Let me see. My guy called Mega in the building. What's good? Mega NYK. Salute, my brother. Hope you're doing well. And hey, I appreciate you, Walter, always, man. Thank you. Where is there he is, Danny Landis. Salute, Danny. Always good to see you. I hope you and the fam are doing well. Let me see. Okay. Yeah. All right. And thank you to those who may be watching that aren't necessarily people who like to get into the chat. I appreciate you. I know some people even like to listen while they're at work, so thank you for doing that. And I think I already said what's up to you, but if I didn't, I'll do it again. Shout out to my guy Kerry Cox. Appreciate you, bro. Hope you're doing well. Yeah. Oh, okay. All right. Yeah, so let me do this. Let me drop this link, right? And then what I will do is I'll get into the intro, which got to start working on a new intro soon, and maybe a new whatever. We'll see. Yeah. Because we're about to get into the new season. I can't wait, guys. You guys don't have any idea how ready I am for this off season to be over. I can't, man. It's so dry right now. This content is like I'm trying to look at different things and talk about different things, but I really want to get back into. I want to get into training camp. I want to get into preseason. I want to get into the NBA game. So I'm really waiting and patiently waiting for this stuff to start kicking off, man. This off season has been rough. I can't imagine the difference between this last year and this year. I mean, there's always going to be stuff to discuss, right? Because we've been doing this 3 years. This is going to be going into our 4th year. So the first year, there wasn't a big off season for the Knicks, but yet we had a lot to talk about. And even last year, the year before last, should I say, with the Donovan Mitchell, that offseason was crazy. That was a hype beast. So that was really exciting. This offseason has just been a little bit drier, man. And there's always going to be things to talk about, but I guess my point is being that I've been doing this like 3 years now, I don't want to just continue to what may have been okay for me before is not okay for me now. I just don't want to continue to just talk about the same stuff and come at it from different angles. Like I want to try to talk about new things as well, or things that pop up. And there are stuff that happens. It's just all about interest level. And I don't know how many people are interested in FIBA. The games are starting to really get good now, and the international talent, like the games between other international teams, has been really exciting. But I don't know how many people are actually watching all these other games. So yeah, it is what it is, though. Anyway, all right. So let me do this. Let me hit the intro and then start bringing people up. Whoever might have joined, I see you. Yeah, let's do that, and then we'll get right back into it, man. Because you know what? It's a happy Saturday. The weather's beautiful. It's not raining. There's only limited clouds over here on the East Coast. So let's enjoy it. We'll be right back after this. Me and my Lou Roll shades. You'll never find. All right, we are back, rocking. I definitely feel like I'm one of them video DJs right now. Rocking you. Yeah, I'm like, these shades is doing it. I don't know, man. Anyway, let me get my guy Andy in here. Andy, what's good, brother?
Salute, bro. Happy to be on with you. Another Saturday, another couple of hours of free time so I can hop on with you.
All right. Always a pleasure, man. Always a pleasure. Once again, if you're tuning in right now, I'm probably going to have to do this a couple times throughout the show. If you're tuning in right now, my left eye is swollen for whatever. I don't know what happened. I woke up and, it just looked kind of crazy. It's not that bad right now. Like if you look at me, you can't even really see it too much. It's starting to go down actually for the first time, but whatever. I can tell, and I looked like Quasimodo a couple days ago. So it's starting to go down, and I'm just hoping that whatever allergy or whatever the hell I got, it goes away, and I can relax, man, because I was looking crazy. I was like, what the hell happened, man? They're going to think I got an eye jammy, and I ain't like that in the streets. They know my name now. I'm just joking. I'm a lover. Anyway, yeah, man. So, hey, look at Stafford Don in the building. Stafford Don, what's good, brother?
Yo, what's good, Ron? What's good, Andy? Long time no see, man.
What up, bro?
Yeah, Ron, I said let me come on and chop it up with you, man. Long time I haven't destroyed you on your own show. So
I know, no, you saw me up here. You said Ron got shades on. What this dude think? He too cool now? Let me get up there.
Everything good with you though?
Man. Yeah, everything good. Can't complain, man. Good. I was
a family.
Everybody, it is what it is. We still where we was. We a little better, but we not. The improvement is real slow right now. It's crazy. These doctors are nuts. We just went to a couple doctors the other day, and they're not doing much, man. It's wild.
Wow. But you already know I got you in my prayers, G.
I appreciate you, brother. I appreciate you, man. We'll get there. I probably have to do a something different in my life because everything is just like these doctors are not like doing what they need to do. So, listen, man. Maybe your boy Ron got to go out there and get himself a part-time job. Maybe this is when I get into my radio gig. You know what I mean? To get that extra ancillary income. Yeah.
I hear that.
Yeah, because regular medicine through what we have as healthcare is not doing it. You really got to go out and just deal with the doctors who have those private practices and pay them the money they want. I mean, it sucks because I feel like everybody's capitalizing, but I know that they have a job to do, but they're the ones with the answers right now. So I'm like, you're kind of stuck. It is what it is. All right. But I'll keep you guys posted and invested as we get deeper into that stuff. And hopefully we get some more, solutions that can better help the family. Before I get around to you guys and what your thoughts are on what's happening, also want to say shout out to the chat once again. I see Sherwin's in the building. Sherwin, good to see you as always, my brother. Boulevard 73 in the building. Salute, my guy. What's good? Bully in the building. Corey Lee is in the building. Salute. What's good, Corey? Hope you're doing well. Ashley Inc is in the building. What up, Wiz? What's good? You really, I mean, you probably use that for business, but man, you need you should just change that to the Wiz or something, man, because that's who you are to us. Oh, let me see here. Get him back. Oh, he's back. Okay, cool. Yeah, I think I got everybody that popped in recently. Cool. Corey Lee says, Ron, if you get jumped, let me in bully 8. No. Thank you, brothers. I'm good, man. I'm good. All right. So, Andy, I was saying, how you doing, brother? How's everything? Everybody okay?
Yeah, life is life. You gotta roll every day. When you wake up, it's a good day. So I'm happy to be on, like I said before.
Good. I'm glad to have you. And Staffa, I'm assuming things are good on your end as well. Oh, is Staffa there? Maybe he got a call or is doing something. Okay, I'll get back to Staffa. But yeah, so I mean, good. I'm glad to hear that, man. So this wasn't a topic that I put on the thumbnail, but it was definitely a topic I wanted to discuss. Shout out to New Knicks City and Squad. Appreciate you. What's good? Definitely, guys, support their show, Organic Fanatics Podcast. If you haven't already, please check it out. Like, comment, subscribe. Show them some love over there, man.
Yeah, I'm good now.
Oh, there you go. So I was saying, Steph, everything good on your end? Family, everybody's okay?
Yeah, man, can't complain, man. I just had some family flew down from New York. So for this week, I was just being I was a tour guide, put it like that.
Oh, cool. Hey, man, you got to do what you got to do, man. And why not? You the guy.
I try to.
Let me see here. All right. So what was my topic? There it is. Yeah, so like I said, this wasn't a topic that I put up on the thumbnail, but I wasn't not going to talk about this because I'm interested in him. And then look, and I gave it away because Andy's here. So if Andy's here, I got to bring it up. Rokus Jokubaitis. Let's go. My guy Rokus looking sweet out there. Let's go. I'm excited. Now I know I gotta calm down because just because he looked good out, it does not mean he's gonna be playing for the Knicks this season. But the only thing that gives me some optimism is and shout out to David Zenon. I don't know if you guys are familiar with David Zenon on Twitter. He's a trainer. I trained some NBA players, but he has been very high on Rokus Jokubaitis. He thought the Knicks did a really good job picking him up. But he also thought that, and I mean, maybe other people have said this, but this is the first time I saw somebody really stick to that and being with his convictions on it. He said, Rokus is a draft and stash for real. Like, you need to give him 2-3 years after you pick him up and let him continue to develop. And if he continues to do that, gets the seasoning overseas, when he comes over here, he'll be perfect for the Knicks. They'll be able to use him the right way. And he still feels that way. And he still thinks like that Rokus needs another year at least to kind of get, but he loves what Rokus is doing right now. And he thinks this is working out perfectly. And I will say that I've looked at what the limited stuff I've looked at for Rokus. I haven't seen a lot. I've been trying to see some stuff. I've only seen like a little bit. And then one of the stuff I've seen, Rokus he's a very good do what is needed of him. He understands like the protocol. He understands who he's playing with, and he falls in line. So you're not going to see Rokus go out there and score 30 points or go crazy and give you like 15 assists. Like, one, he plays his role, he plays his minutes, and two, like, he's not like a flashy type, oh, it's all about me. He's a team player, and I like that about him. So he does exactly what's needed in the time that he's out there. But now you can start to see, like, in the same amount of minutes, he is doing a little bit more because it's coming easier to him. He's seeing things better. I always think he's got a shot as far as a jump shot, and he can score. It's just, more consistency of just being in the right spots, being comfortable with the ball, and just feeling like, you could take your man off the dribble and do this. And I see the open guy, and I feel like he's getting more and more of that. Let me do this. Let me bring a friend of the show. We haven't seen him for a little while. He's back in the mix, back talking about the Knicks and the rest of the NBA. And, Let's get him in here. Hey, these World of Hoops in the building. What's good? What's happening, my brother? You know what? You haven't been here in a while, so you get this.
Hey, dude. Hey.
Yeah. Good to see you, man.
What's good, everybody? How's everybody doing today?
Not too bad. Hanging in there.
Can't complain.
Good to hear. Shout out to the Who family. Shout out to the chat as well. Make sure everybody puts up those likes. Make sure everybody's supporting good content.
So before I was getting into this topic, just how's everybody? How you doing? You good?
Oh, me? I'm gravy. I'm ready to rock and roll.
All right, sounds good. Shout out to Our Future Media. I see you, appreciate you. Thank you for tuning in, showing love as always. So, Rokus, I'm gonna start with you, Andy. What's your thoughts on what I talked about with David Zenon, what he thinks about Rokus? Do you think that kind of holds water? You think that's the way the Knicks should be looking at him? And how do you feel about what you've been seeing from him? Because I know you've probably seen a little bit more of him than we have, these days.
Yeah, Ron. I'm just gonna say that what I said like a couple of months or a couple of years ago about Rokus. For me, if you guys didn't watch his games, if you can just go back in the memory and envision Goran Dragic, he's exactly if you would mix up a little bit of the haircut that Rokus has on Goran Dragic, it would be exactly the player that you're gonna get in the NBA. Not too flashy, not too fast, but he's crafty. He knows how to thread the needle with them passes and stuff like that. But like you said before, he's not going to be the scoring guard that is going to go for 30 or more points. He's going to be playing efficient basketball, though. What I would be afraid of bringing Rokus to the Knicks is that he's not going to get playing time on a roster like this when we have other multiple position players on the roster that Tibbs would rather use than use basically just a one-dimensional position player like Rokus, because he's in the NBA, he's basically a point guard, nothing more. And if you're cool with that and you're going to use him, you can bring him up. But I think as far as what I know, he just extended the contract for another 2 seasons with an option. So, of course, they always have, players that were drafted. They always have the NBA out, right? The option. But I don't envision Rokus using that option just to write out on the bench, right? So I think he's going to, get paid a hefty amount of money just to stay in Europe. He's playing one of the top teams in Europe, top teams in the EuroLeague. So I think, for him and his career, it's a better decision to stay in Europe at this moment. As far as we see in the FIBA World Cup competition, he's probably the most steady player that if we can say that the Knicks have out there, because even JB had a bad game lately. Rokus was always playing his game, and I didn't see him have like a bad game. And I'm not saying only box score wise, because I know how fans are gonna go. They're just gonna run through the box scores and say, he scored 4 points. He had a bad game. Listen, like someone else mentioned, NBA players, stars like Anthony Edwards, and those guys average in the FIBA World Cup like 16 points per game. They're not like 30-point scorers because it's the FIBA competition and they're gonna whoop everyone. So I think you got to be happy what we see from Rokus. As far as him playing on the Knicks, I still see like a season or 2 seasons away at least. And it still might not be the case. He might still extend a contract, maybe get a little bit, better contract from a European country and come to the NBA when he's literally around his 30s, right? So I see him pursuing a career of basketball in Europe, unless he's going to feel that way. Like, listen, I just want to try the NBA. And then I'm going to come back for a year, like Pablo Prigioni did, right? Pablo was like 35, but I think Rokus is going to go a little bit earlier if he decides to make that move.
Right. Okay. Let me go to Staffa and then I'll go to D. Staffa, what's your thoughts on Rokus and what you've seen and the likelihood of him actually putting on a New York Knicks uniform?
Ah, boy, wow. And coming like Jay Boogie. They leave no meat on the bone for you, boy. None. But with Rokus, I have to agree with most of the things that Andy said, and then Sean made up a good point also too. There's a lot of guards that we have on this team, so I don't see him coming over here getting any minutes. Man, Andy said everything. He just signed the extension to stay in Barcelona, so he's not going to be over here too soon. We already got JB, and then there's still a question mark on Quickly, but I feel like we may sign him and have him as the backup point guard. So as far as Rokus, yeah, he looks good in the European ball. I think his game fits over there. But for right now, I don't see him coming over here getting any minutes at all because of the guys that's in front of him right now. And it's going to take a while for him to get familiar with the NBA system and the NBA style and the speed of the game. So it's a good stash, but it's just a questionable stash right now to see if he's going to come over here.
Right. No, that's fair. I agree. Yeah, it's I have an alternative thought about it, but I'm gonna let D go, and then I'll say what I'm gonna say.
No, say your thought
D.
first. Say your thought.
Oh no, because I don't want it to take anything away from what you may be thinking.
No, I think we'll be all right. But anyway, all right, no problem. Andy, good assessment. And Rokus was actually supposed to be drafted the year before he actually got drafted. He's been an international prospect ever since 17. So he has the skill. Goran Dragic is a good player comparison. I think he's a little bit faster and stronger than Goran is, but very similar type of games. Has shot blistering for the corner throughout most of his career. Very good in up tempo. You see, he's kind of been castrated in Europe because it's a different style of basketball there. And his minutes have been limited for the most part. He comes in, he initiates the offense. He finds this, he works a pick and roll, they work their sets, whatever. But he could ball. And it's been sad that we haven't seen him here yet. And I get his because remember, there was reports that had came out, I think it was a season ago or 2 seasons ago, where he didn't want to come down because he's like, I ain't playing no damn G League. I've been a professional since 17. What are you talking about? And he is a professional. He knows how to run an NBA offense today. So it's been kind of sad not seeing him here, especially that we've had backup point guard issues. I think he would have been a nice slide in there, 15, 20 minutes a night, 15, 18 a night, just initiating the offense, getting guys going, finding his in the meantime, especially that second unit likes to get out and run, especially when Obi was there, stuff of that nature. So that would have been nice. But I have to be in agreement with my guys here and say that I don't think we're going to see him anytime soon. And especially that he did sign the extension with Barcelona and stuff like that. Barcelona's a really nice place, just in case you guys don't know. And it's a lot nicer looking in New York City. So I can't blame him for wanting to stay in the system. He's been there since forever. They go ahead and extend him. They might expand his role a bit now because he has gotten some stripes there. It's about his 3rd or 4th year there. So I think it's a good business move on his end, and I don't think we'll see him anytime soon either.
Well, I think, as I agree with everything all of you have said. Currently constituted, if you like what you're seeing from this Knicks squad and this roster, if the Knicks decide to run this squad out for the next few years, I don't think Rokus Jokubaitis will ever be a New York Knick, ever. My thought is because the Knicks look like they're still trying to get that piece or whatever they feel that piece is going to be. I do think at some point the Knicks are going to pull off a trade. And that is when I think we're going to see Rokus. Not the same time because, this is a yearly thing, but the following year. So at some point this year is what I'm saying. I think the Knicks are going to make that trade that we some of us hope for and maybe some of us will regret. Whatever.
Mm.
But and so what I think is going to happen is the Knicks will make that trade. It'll be some type of blockbuster trade because that's what they've been waiting for. Whether it be a Joel Embiid, whether it be a Donovan Mitchell, whoever. And there's going to be a lot of pieces that go in that trade. And I think that will be what opens things up so that there's a guard spot for Rokus to step into. That's the only way to me that I'll see that I think Rokus will be a Knick, because I don't think there's just too many guards on this team. You got to get rid of Deuce. You got to get rid of Quickly. And if you're going to get a star type player, most likely Quickly is going or Grimes is going. But I think Quickly would probably be the one going too, or maybe both are going. Either way, because Jalen Brunson is the guy here, and I don't think Rokus has an issue with being a backup for a Knick team with a Jalen Brunson, but he wants to be a bat. He don't want to be the third string, the fourth string. He don't want to be any of that.
Right.
No, he does not want that. So, and I can respect that. And I would love to have Rokus here. But yeah, that's the thing. So in the end, Knick fans, I think the Knicks are in a good spot because, even if we never see Rokus as a Knick, his value is increasing. The more and more he plays, he's going to be looked at around the league as a commodity. And the Knicks do have his rights for now. I don't know how long that whole thing works when you don't bring a guy over, how long, you can hold on to someone's rights, but they do have his rights for now. And so he's a good chip. So, but I do hope that eventually it becomes. I hate seeing a player that you think can translate and fit on your team, but for whatever reason, there's no room or no spot for the person. And you're like, how do you make this work? You got to get rid of this guy. And it's usually about somebody on your team that you're paying a whole bunch of money and you just can't sit on the bench or trade him. But I don't think the Knicks have that issue. They just have to figure out what makes the most sense. Do they think they could win with this team currently constituted? I don't think they think that. I think that's why they keep throwing these little hints out that they're still looking for a star player. So I think that big trade has to happen first before we ever see Rokus here. So that's it. That was just my alternative thought. I think there's a way, but it would have to take something big to happen. So that's pretty much it on the Rokus front. I just wanted to touch on it real quick. But what I do want to get into is, and I'm not making a big deal about it, RJ fans out there, because I know some of y'all are like, hey, he's always coming down on RJ lately. No. It's in essence, I think they both put up the same numbers. RJ Barrett and Jalen Brunson both had tough games, all right, this last time around. It is what it is. It happens, right? You don't make a big deal about Jalen because he's a lot more consistent, and you rarely see this. But for RJ, it's a little bit of a bigger deal, right? So RJ Barrett's Team Canada, he scored 4 points. He was 1 of 9 shooting. He had 4 rebounds, and I think 1 or 2 assists, something like that. He struggled. It was a struggle game for him. But more importantly, they lost to Brazil, which is not a good look for them. Not that Brazil's bad, but, it's not a good look for Team Canada, who's got some good star power over there, some good talented guys. And so a lot of people are pointing the finger at RJ and giving him the flack. But it's not RJ's fault. He's not the only guy over there on that team. When we looked at Team Canada, we said, man, Team Canada is kind of loaded. Some people thought Team Canada had a better roster than the USA roster. And so for them to be struggling and after, I think not too long ago, didn't they blow somebody out by 50? It doesn't kind of translate. It doesn't make sense that maybe you should have saved some of them points for Brazil, but whatever. So it's not all on RJ, but he does continue to show me that thing that scares me. And this is what I said the last time when he put up a bad outing. It's not about bad outing. It's about your adjustments. What are you doing in game to make the outing could be bad, but can you make the outing less bad? Instead of you scoring 4 or 6 points and taking 10 shots and only making 1, could you have said, instead of me taking these same shots, and I know I've seen this before, this ain't falling. Let me go inside. Let me get a couple quick, easy layups. I bet if RJ went 4 for 10, right, and scored 10 points, it looks a lot better than 4 points going 1 for 9. I'm just saying, like, I want to see him make adjustments to his game. And you guys can chime in on that. But the other thing is, the reason why I'm putting Jalen Brunson is just to show some consistency on as far as if you're going to say one player had a bad game, you got to point to the other guy. He's a star player, but he had a bad game too. He had a bad game. He wasn't even on the floor in crunch time at the end of the game for USA. But they have a lot of players over there. And the thing about Jalen Brunson that I will say is that Jalen Brunson knows one thing about Team USA. He's not the only talented player over there. And he has shown it since he's been here. He doesn't do what Jalen Brunson does for the Knicks. For the Knicks, Jalen Brunson knows he's got to do a lot more and step up. For Team USA, he plays his role. He tries to just do whatever's there and get other guys involved. If you've seen, you cannot tell me you've seen Jalen Brunson score 25 points or more with Team USA, because you're not going to see it, because he's not playing that role. He sees there's other guys. And you think the other thing is, you got a guy on your team that's disgruntled right now. Brandon Ingram is pissed off that he got demoted to the bench. He's looking at things a certain way, but he's trying to stay quiet. But he's already said enough. You know, these guys see what's going on. And Jalen Brunson's like, he's been on Team USA before. Let's just get everybody involved and try to win games. He's not going out for self, which I appreciate that about him. Sorry. All right, I said enough.
No, I got questions for you before you move. Hold on. Okay. So number one, right? Have you seen RJ play in FIBA so far?
I've only seen him play 2 games.
Okay, that's good enough. Have you seen any new wrinkles in his game so far this summer?
The only thing that I could say that I saw, well, there's 3 things, but one doesn't really matter to me because he could have done that at any time. In the 2 games that I saw more willingness for him to pass the ball to his teammates. Okay. However, I haven't seen that every game. Like, I watched highlights and I don't necessarily see that every game. But so that's one thing, but that's like no improvement. That's just him being willing to do it. The 2 things that I could say might have improved but it's not an improvement. It's a change. His jump shot has changed a little bit. The way he's releasing it and maybe how much lift he's getting off of the ground. I don't know. It's less lift, but he's also been in the league a little longer, and he's not the most athletic to begin with. But his jump shot, the form is slightly different, but that's not necessarily good when you've showed that you've gone 1 for 10 in one game and 1 for 9 in another. So it is what it is.
I got you.
And then the other thing, the last thing I saw is, which was it's a carryover from the playoffs. He was going to the lane aggressively with that layup package that we saw him display a little bit in Cleveland, and then we saw it in Miami too in the playoffs, where he was going really aggressively to the hoop, and it was working. And he did that in the first game for Team Canada. And I think I saw him do a little of it in the next game that I saw. But I don't know if he's continuing to do that because I haven't seen the rest of the games. But I think if he was doing that, he'd be scoring more points. I think he's settling. But that's all I've seen. Not a huge improvement, not a huge change.
Got you. I'm in almost agreement with you. I think he's reading the floor better. He's reading the defense a little bit better. When that weak side comes in, he's able to catch the wing in the corner a little bit better, a little bit quicker and less dribbles, which he hadn't done before. But it's little nuances. Sherwin brought up a floater. He has hit a couple in this, so if you want to consider that, that's a consideration. But yeah, okay. Here's my last one because you said it. You know what happens too with guys in FIBA? There's less possessions, and there's more ball usage, and there's more half-court offense going on. So therefore, you're not going to get as many possessions as you were in the NBA, and that's why, for example, like a guy like Anthony Edwards, even though he does lead the team in shots attempted, I think he's only averaging like 16, 15 or something like that, and that's the way that cookie crumbles with them.
Yeah. I mean, it makes sense. I mean, I know the game is different. Like, and I honestly, personally, I haven't watched enough of it to really study the differences between the NBA game. I've only watched 3 games, and there's been a lot more games than that going on. So, because they're coming on at weird times, and I'm missing them. So
they are weird times, right?
Yeah. So yeah, Andy, we'll go with you. What's your thoughts on your favorite player, RJ Barrett, and how he's been playing? And your second favorite player, Jalen Brunson. No, I'm just joking.
Yeah, Ron. So I kind of can't agree with you guys on RJ's improvement and development as far as comparing his NBA game to the FIBA game. As far as the shot goes, it was inconsistent in NBA, and it is inconsistent on FIBA. It doesn't matter if it's a little bit closer in the three-point range. He has good games. He has bad games. As far as the drive, like you said, that he goes aggressive. Listen, the game that he was aggressive from the drive and stuff like that, it was versus a weaker team. And he took advantage. It's as simple as that. If you would put out a high school team versus them, he would also drive to the hoop. So I can't, judge that he's improved or he's going to be better in that aspect. I want to see that versus good teams, and then I can approve it. And it was like literally one game from RJ. So I see nothing but the tweak. It isn't. You can't even say that it's a change of form of his shot. It's a tweak. It literally is like a couple of degrees of angle of his hand. So I understand that it probably is an adjustment, but I don't see that being the biggest thing possible for him to do in the offseason. Thinking about Jalen. Listen, of course, he's going to have worse games. And this is usually they didn't have probably the scouting report on Montenegro like they had versus, these better teams. I think maybe they underestimated them a little bit. Listen, Montenegro is a country. They have barely over 600,000 people as a whole country. That's half of a hood in New York, right?
Right.
Listen, how many guys can you scout in like 3 games? They got Nikola Vucevic that they know from the NBA, and literally no one else. So even like the next 2 best players on Montenegro play in European competition. The rest of those guys are like even second tier leagues. So I think they probably got surprised by Montenegro, literally surprised, and changing JB, sitting him on the bench in the 4th quarter and playing Tyrese Halliburton probably helped them because the game was physical, and I think Halliburton having the height advantage over Brunson helped the US team. But like I said before on previous shows, every game Team USA wins less by 30 points, they should literally treat it like a loss. The competition for Team USA, even if this is, let's call it a 2nd-tier team or 3rd-tier team, right, or from the United States, they still should whoop these teams by 30 or more. And for me, they should literally take it as a personal loss, as far as I see it. Letting a country like Montenegro hang with them and even have a leave at halftime, unacceptable for me.
I hear you. Okay. I mean, that's. I will say, Andy, you have said that since these FIBA games have started, you felt like Team USA needs to dominate throughout the course of this. And
Ron, I could go even further. If you would think about it, I don't know if you guys remember, there was a country, Yugoslavia, right? That contained Montenegro, that contained Slovenia, Serbia, Croatia. If that country was still on the face of this planet and all of the best players from those countries mentioned would be playing on one team, US wouldn't be the favorites, and I bet you they wouldn't win every 4 years. I bet you that. You think you're going to have Joker, you're going to have Bogdanovic, the other Bogdanovic, you're going to have Luka on that squad. Bro, this team wouldn't hang with them. Literally, they wouldn't.
You know what?
Vucevic,
I just want to say, Andy, you're right. I've heard other people mention something similar.
They would literally, I would say they even mop the floor with Team USA.
Well, this iteration of Team USA, I would say, because remember,
I would say that the game would be competitive if US brought tier 1 players. It would be competitive.
Yeah, no, I know. I would definitely think so, because I think those are some of the best players in the world as well. So I agree with you. I definitely think you're onto something there. But this is the way it kind of stacked out because of the
Yeah,
the
the home
separation.
war. I don't know what the government of United States did to start that home war in Yugoslavia to break it up to make Team USA have an easier way years down the road. But
Yeah, they saw this coming.
yeah,
There's fly
probably.
that USA. Um, Staffa, what's your thoughts
Yo,
on the play of RJ and Brunson with regards to, and then like a tale of two cities here. Both teams are stacked. They both got good players, but excuse me, Team Canada loses to Brazil, and USA escapes against Montenegro.
I'm gonna start off with my point guard first, JB. And this is a thing that's kind of disturbing me. Is like everybody expect this guy to be the savior of New York and of the US team. And it's like the young man can have a bad game. It's like he has a bad game and oh, we should have started Halliburton and Halliburton is better than him and this and the third. And I mean, every NBA player has a bad game, and it's not every time he's going to shine, and get all these points. As you could see, FIBA is a different type of game. It's a 10-minute game. You could hit the ball off the rim, more physical, and yesterday was a game where, he just didn't have it. And Halliburton, as he has to do as a backup, come in and provide that jolt and that energy and provide scoring also too. So the whole big deal about, Brunson getting benched and he's no good, I just think is nonsense. All the guys on that team respect this guy. They see him as a winner. Even you hear Steve Kerr, saying that this guy is a winner. Little tampering here and there with Mr. Kerr.
Yeah.
With trying to recruit my guy Hart and JB, but Brunson is a winner, man, and is going to have a time in these games where he's going to really come through, and people going to eat their words. So that's my assessment on JB. I'm not worried about him. But RJ now, to tell you the truth, Ron, I don't really see any improvement, man. I think it's the same RJ year after year after year. I think we have seen it in 4 years now. His driving to the basket, his going left, finishing at the rim. We see the Drew Hanlon, tapes where he's working on his jump shot. But these things I have to see in the game for me to say that how his game has changed, right? I haven't seen it enough to say, okay, it's an improvement. I just see the same thing over and over and over and over and over and over again. So, don't get me wrong. He's, I think Kerry Cox had a funny statement just now. Is it Kerry Cox or is it Keith? He has a Mamba mentality, but no skills. No Mamba skills. So look, I don't want to bash the kid. He's a good young man. He carries himself well respectably. And he just needs to improve these things as far as the jump shot. He needs to develop a go-to post move, in my opinion. And I think he'll be a complimentary, high-skilled role player in this league. I know people still got high hopes of him being a all-star in this league, but he probably might get one out of the 15 years he played. But I'm just stating my opinion. I don't see him as a this big superstar, this star that everybody, New York has dubbed him to be this golden child. But I haven't seen no no improvement from RJ at all. I'm sorry. I just see the same go to left. You know, I'll say this. One thing I could say though, when they kick it out to him on the three, his three shot looks good. That's what I could say. His corner shots look good. You know, that's about it. But otherwise, I don't see no improvement, Ron. I think we're gonna see the same RJ, but just a more aggressive RJ, where he just needs to have the game come to him and not force it. And I think that's what happened to him in the Brazil game. He was forcing it a lot, you know, just chucking up shots. You just need to let the game come to him, and I think that's where he shined. But that's my assessment on RJ.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. I hear you. D, did you have more you wanted to add? I don't know if you really spoke.
I didn't really get that. Yeah, but so just to make something clear, I didn't say he improved or developed anywhere. So all I said was that I noticed that he's reading the weak side better. That's all I said, and that he's able to go ahead and pass it to the wing and corner a little bit quicker. So if you guys want to see that as an improvement or development, then so be it. But just quick on Jalen Brunson. You know, Jalen Brunson's a killer. And, you know, Ron, you were there front and center for it. We talked very highly about Jalen Brunson since day one. And the reason why that was is because you already saw the killer. I'm not concerned at all if he has a bad game at FIBA. It doesn't concern me, not in the slightest. He's already he's a bad defender. Okay, go ahead, Andy. Bob.
No, I will wrap it up. When we're going to wrap it up, I just want to go back to RG for just one possession.
Oh, okay, I got you. Oh yeah, Jalen. So his game, you notice when, and this is who Jalen Brunson is. They try to work Jalen Brunson to the pick and roll. You try to work to do some sets, and you notice after a while, Kerr had him going ISO a lot because Jalen Brunson could just get his. And there's very few players in this league. Okay, you talk about 450, 460 players. There's very few players in this league that could do that on a consistent basis. But then the issue is that it's a little bit of a clunky fit there. And you got to talk to Grant Hill about that because Grant Hill was actually in charge of putting this roster together. And it's a little clunky. There's some parts that don't match. But it is up to the coaching staff to get them together. And especially when you have Spoelstra there, you have Kerr, and you have Ty Lue. And with Andy in this sense that you would expect to see, even when they're more tier 2 players or tier 3 players and stuff of that nature, you would expect to see a little bit more cohesion on both sides of the floor. We have not seen that consistently from this squad throughout. And don't forget, like, they've also played some teams. And the way that FIBA bracks the teams and stuff like that's a little weird. So, like, you'll have some weird games where they're not playing against high-level competition like that. They'll look fantastic and they'll look stunning. You know, there was a half against Greece that if Giannis was there, that would have been a completely different game. But in that half, you saw weaknesses within Team USA, especially on the help defense. Pumpalinki is Andy will help me better with him. That center that was drafted by Phoenix years ago. He could ball. And he was destroying Jaren Jackson Jr. in the first half of the game. I think he had like 15-7 in that half. So, but of course, the overall talent and stuff like that of the team does take over, especially if they are deep in the second unit. So, but you would expect to see him better. And I think it does kind of give you an interesting perspective as to the state of the NBA, where it's at today, where I could go ahead 10 years ago and go ahead and see Kobe and see that roster there and just see the difference just in the play. So that's more me just ranting on my personal perspective on that. But back to RJ Barrett. RJ Barrett is who he is. I remember scouting RJ Barrett at Montenegro. His game hasn't changed. It's the same game it was in Monteverdi. It's the same game it was in the first year of Duke. It's the same game as rookie year, sophomore year, junior year, and this year. And it's the same thing that we're seeing in FIBA. Same different type of shot attempts, right? Big thing. Sherwin mentioned footwork. He's 100% right about that. But another thing, too, ball handling and being able to read the game. All the great players, it doesn't matter what era, 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, now, They all can handle the basketball, and they all can read the game. And RJ hasn't done it. So maybe something might happen within the next month or so where you might see a different RJ come training camp or something like that. I guess you can hold your breath for that. But I think we're going to get a very similar type of guy. I think when there's small lineups up there, he's going to be able to abuse them. And it's because it's just his physicality. You know what I'm saying? He's 6'6", 6'7", 6'9" wingspan. And when he turns his shoulder, he can get his way down there. The issue is that I don't think he's a small forward. What position is he playing in Canada?
You know what? I don't even know. What is he playing in Canada? I got no clue.
He's been playing a lot of 2 there.
Yeah, a lot of 2. Yeah.
Because you know why? He's 2. He's not a 3. So I'm not going to get on that right now, but I'm just saying that. So when you see him at a position where he's going to be at next year too, because the Knicks seem thoroughly convinced that he is going to play the 3 next year, especially with the DiVincenzo signing, it's safe to say that he's going to be there. Things you're looking for RJ this year is definitely not going to be a leap towards stardom. It's not going to be all-star fringe. It's not going to be any of those things. What we should want to see from him is better activity, energy, and want on the defensive end. That's a big thing. That's what we want to see from him. We want to see him be able, if his ball handle is not going to be great, that's fantastic. At least be able to get to your spots. 2 or 3 dribbles, get it to your kill spots and do what you want to do. Those things we have not seen in FIBA. It's kind of been the same old type of thing with him. Okay. But also too, and the team's not even stacked like that. But Canada is just so talented with so many different type of players. Ball usage goes down and stuff like that. Sometimes it's hard for guys to go ahead and find their way. So you also have that going on as well. It's the same thing with Jalen Brunson as well. That's why he's not able to kill all the time. Because then Anthony Edwards is like this. And I've literally seen him like that in Team USA, which is ridiculous. But yeah, I think RJ is going to be RJ. We just want to see different intangible things raise a level up next year, like energy, communication, being able to help weak side better, stuff of that nature. And I think Jalen Brunson's a killer, and he's going to be fine.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. I'm gonna say a couple things, but I'll wait. Andy, go ahead. What were we gonna say back on RJ?
Yeah, just going back to RJ and the last bad game he had versus Brazil. I think they were down like by 35 seconds to end the game, and he got beat backdoor, and the guys went up 6, and that was literally the game after that possession.
Yeah, and listen, man, that's the scary thing with RJ Barrett. I'm gonna say it one more time. I know nobody may believe me right now, and I don't know how it's gonna happen. I don't know how it's gonna. I'm gonna say it all year until the year is virtually over, and there's no chance of him doing it. I think RJ is going to continue to be inconsistent. I think that's who he is as a basketball player. I think it's going to be tough for him to get consistent. I think it'll be also tough if he doesn't change the way he looks at his basketball game out there on the floor. If he doesn't say, listen, I got to believe in my teammates. I got to trust the guys on my team. I got guys on this team that are better than we've ever been before. I've got Josh Hart, who does the grit, does the little things. And I know that if Josh Hart gets a rebound or if Josh Hart goes on the break, he's going to look for me. So I got to depend on Josh Hart. I got Dante DiVincenzo over here, who is a good ball handler, can be a good facilitator, can score the ball a little bit, has a better shot from 3 than I do. I got to believe in him. I got to trust him. He's my teammate. And he moves the ball. So I know that if I trust in him, he'll get it back to me. You know what I mean? Then you got JB and you got Julius Randle. No, the trust area is like, these guys are ballers. So I can believe in them for that. As far as getting the ball back, maybe not so much all the time because they get theirs. And if it's open, they're going to take it. But he's got to learn to believe in everybody on his team. And also, RJ is going to be 5th year. He's got to start also helping other guys on the team too. Like Quentin Grimes. Quentin Grimes ain't going to necessarily get it himself. get Quentin Grimes shots, get Quentin Grimes the ball here. If Deuce is in the game with you, like, you know, figure out how to make Deuce help the team better. Like, I need RJ to be a leader. You may not have the star quality right now. You may not be the upper echelon guy, but you've been in the league. This is your 5th year. Like, you still got more experience than some of these other guys. So I would look to that. Like, if I get these guys in better positions to help the team will do better. And then they'll remember that, and then they'll look for me when I need the ball or when I need to be in it. Like, I just think sometimes you could be a little too selfish in this game, and for good teams to win, you got to share the rock. And when you're sharing the rock and things ain't working, the guys on the team know, oh, whoa, yo, you know, it ain't rocking right now. We got to get the ball to Joker, you know, like Denver, for example. Oh, you know, Michael Porter Jr. don't got it going. Yeah, let's get the ball to Joker. He'll know what to do. Like, it comes back. You just got to work with your team. And I would love to see more of that from RJ. And as I said before, I would love to see RJ learn. I mean, if you're going to be a bully and play bully ball and you bulked up a little bit once again, then you better do that. I want to see more of that. I don't want to see you settling for jump shots. If you wide open, this, you know, you got to take it here and there. But don't settle. Like, there's a point where, you know, I mean, I don't know if anybody disagrees. RJ looks like, for the most part, he can get to the basket at will. So even if you put him on the corner, right, and the 3-point shot is not falling, I say he's take 2 or 3 of them, they're not dropping. The next time they pass you to the ball in the corner and you're open, get to the rim. Why not? Do that little floater you've been working on. Let's see something else. Don't just settle because it's open. That's all I'm saying with regards to that. And the defensive end, that's a whole nother story. It's a lot of work there. But that goes back to the whole thing. Is no offense to Drew Hanlon. I just think that RJ also needs to expand on who he's working with and the types of things he's learning. He's a guy who puts in the work in the offseason. He supposedly was a gym rat. I don't know if he's still a gym rat these days, but he was a gym rat. So, you know, I think it's interesting. I pointed this out the other day. Like, and I'm not trying to make a big deal because people do what they do. You know, RJ could be different. But I see Quentin Grimes working with JJ Reddick. I see Emmanuel Quickly working with Mahmoud Abdul-Rauf. Like, who's RJ working with outside of Drew Hanlon? I'm just saying, like, RJ seems to be that loner type. He don't even go work out with the team. When they play in pickup games last year, he wasn't with none of these guys. Like, he just does his own thing. And for me, unless you're succeeding on a high level, that doing your own thing doesn't always fly. So, yeah, I don't know.
Okay, well,
I don't want to harp on it.
No, harp on it. Listen, that's coaching as well, and that's like organization makeup as well. Because, like, you know, Greg Pop, I put out the video months ago, and he said it best. He said that, you know, when we bring guys in, right, we have a certain makeup of the guys that we bring in, right? And he goes, so we could deal with a bad apple because we already have the foundation set. You know what I'm saying? We have the example already. So that bad apple would have no choice. He would either say, all right, I got to be down with this. Or if he goes ahead and throws a tiff, then he's out of there, right? So here's my point. With RJ, and this is the same thing that you see similar type of behaviors with Julius, and you see it with even Jalen Brunson sometimes too. And I think that's a Tibbs thing. I think that's an organizational thing where they set these guys up to go ahead and be like, here you go, dog. Do your thing. And then you get it like an attitude of like, okay, it's your turn now. Oh, okay, it's your turn now. Instead of just playing what the game is reading.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that, so here's my point, right? Like with RJ. If RJ was to go, I'm trying to think of an organization that moves the ball around a lot. Let's say, I'm just throwing it out there, Golden State. Their system in place, RJ would be a completely different player if he was to ever be there from infancy, from 1920. He'll be a completely different player because it's a totally different system. You see what I'm saying? So yeah. I think that, of course, guys have their games, you know, they build it up through the years and stuff like that, and they translate that to the NBA. But I also think that when you're not a star, because what defines a star or a superstar? Here's the one big thing. There's other things, but here's the one big thing. They all can get their own shot when they want. Can RJ do that? Then he's not a star. So therefore, he's relegated as a piece of the team, a cog in the machine. And he may show you glimpses of stuff like that may occur. Like, hey, wow, you know, if this could happen in the next 20, 25 games. But he doesn't show it consistently. So RJ is RJ. And if you do want him to do those things, that's fantastic. But I also think that there has to be the system, the organization, the culture, that has to be a little bit changing that too. Because you see it with Julius Randle too as well. Yeah, I'm not hoping they're on that one. Okay, I got this one. It's all the same attitude. So if the Knicks are going to think about taking themselves seriously and being a real true contender and a real threat to make an Eastern Conference Finals, you can't have that attitude. It has to be all 15 guys in, ready to play and bleed for each other every single game.
Yeah, I mean, that's very true. But in fairness, when you talk about Julius Randle having that attitude, that was the old Julius, the Julius before he watched actual film and tape.
Yeah, good. I'm about to say, yo.
Oh, that's hilarious to me. I'm never going to get over that. I don't watch film. What? Okay. All right, whatever. Anyway, yeah, so shout out to the chat. Let me just welcome a couple people in. Shout out to Andrew Gutierrez. Salute to you. Appreciate you. Hope you're doing well. Keyshawn in the building. Salute, Keyshawn. Good to see you. Billy Goat is here. What's good? White Falcon 44 in the building. Cody is in the building. Salute. Snipes Entertainment is in the building. Salute. King Ribby is in the building. Salute, King Ribby. Marlon Khan is in the building. I'm gonna come right back to you, Marlon. Travel Vibes is here. Salute. Drip Moore, the preferred barber of still Knicks fans and the Knicks community, is in the building. Let's go. Salute. What's good? Keith Turner is here. What's going on, Keith? Shaw Legacy is in the building. Salute. Delano Steele Jr. DSJ is in the building. What's good? Knicks Nation 112, where the players dwell, is here. What's good? Ken is in the building. Salute. All right. Let me get back to a couple things real quick. First off, Corey Lee, shout out to you, my brother. Happy birthday.
Happy born day.
Congrats to be here another year, another day. 51 spins around the sun. You are blessed, my friend. Shout out to you, bro. Happy birthday to Corey Lee. Marlon Khan says, what up, Ron and team? Can you shout out the New York Liberty, who won the first Commissioner Cup title, and Sabrina, who broke Curry's three-point shootout record at the WNBA three-point shootout? Let me tell you something, man. I don't get out, a lot, especially to these big public events, because it's going to be a lot of people. And then, stuff is already starting to run around again. Y'all see it in the streets. It's happening again. But if there was a game or a sporting event I would like to get out to, it would be to see this current WNBA team that the New York Liberty has. I think they have an incredible squad over there. It's really nice to see. I know basketball is different these days. Even WNBA is different. Like, you don't have that same level of star power you once did before universally, but there's certain cogs over there in place in the WNBA that look really good. And it's nice to know that the New York Liberty have a really good squad that they put together. So, yeah, I wouldn't definitely, if I could get out and see a game, I would definitely love to watch the New York Liberty. Shout out to them. Congratulations for winning the Commissioner Cup. And shout out to Sabrina, man. She's a real one. But we knew she was a real one because we saw Kobe take her under the wing. You saw different NBA players shouting her out. So I was like, okay, there's something different. She must be kind of special. And I never saw her game really too much. But then after I saw her at certain things, I was like, okay, she's good. And that level, and the other thing is also to see the level that Kobe had with Sabrina too. When he passed, she was at his ceremony. And like, you see that connection. It's the stuff you see behind the scenes that we don't necessarily know about. Yeah. But they were really cool, really tight. And so, yeah, man, she must have been special. And we can see it. Like, she's a baller. So shout out to her. And shout out to them. Next topic up is a topic that I am kind of like, I guess this is what it is for this off season. Like, you just got to deal with it. All right, okay. Let's in other stuff that's never gonna happen. Giannis Antetokounmpo to the New York Knicks, folks. Let's go. Where do we sign up? Pencil it in. Let's go. When does it happen? When you guys think? In a couple weeks? What you think? what are we
Before
doing
training
here,
camp,
man?
right? Better be before the training camp.
Yeah. Like, what are we doing here, man? I don't know, man. I love it. It's always going to be speculation. But first, it was Donovan Mitchell once again. Then it was Paul George. Then it's Joel Embiid. Now it's Giannis Antetokounmpo. I mean, if there's a bigger fish out there in the world to get, who's bigger than him? I just don't like. I'm just, it's really frustrating, but I know it's par for the course. But every time somebody's disgruntled, that doesn't mean the Knicks can get them. I mean, they should try to get everybody, but that doesn't mean they will. Like, and then it's interesting. I'm listening to what Giannis was talking about, the fact that he's like, I give everything for this team. I give everything for this game. I sacrifice my family. I take this seriously. I want to win. And some people were kind of downplaying that or belittling his argument, like everybody does that. No, everybody does not do that. I'm sorry to say it. It would be nice if everybody did do that. But I've seen Giannis Antetokounmpo play hurt. I've seen him come back from an injury that I thought he wasn't going to come back so soon from and play well, right? Play better than the guy on your team that's fully healthy. So I don't downplay that. When I see who he is as a person, how he plays, and how much effort he gives, you can't do that. Giannis is a superstar in this league because of his athletic ability, his speed as a player, and his go-get-itness. He goes and gets it. He goes and gets those rebounds. He pushes the pace. The guy can't shoot, and he's a superstar. Come on, what more do we have to say here? I mean, defensively, we know that he's a very solid defender. Fine. But offensively, when you think about it, this guy's limited. But he gets to the hoop. You can't stop him. The dude can't shoot, and he still gets to the hoop. You can't stop him. He pushes the pace. He takes the ball coast to coast. He makes breaks. He changes what a team does out there. You can't say that this guy doesn't give his all. That's all effort. It's all effort. So would I want Giannis on the Knicks? Of course. Would I want and have to deal with the fact that if he's here, he would bring his stupid brother with him? Maybe. But all right, I don't want to talk about him. But yeah, man, I don't see it happening because I just don't think if we don't know if the Knicks have the chips to go get a Joel Embiid, or like what would they have to give up and how it would gut the team to get a Donovan Mitchell, how the heck can we think that we're going to be able to get a Giannis? Giannis Milwaukee would ask for the world, and rightly so. So I don't know. I mean, disgruntled is what it is. Now, the thing about Giannis is I believe he's a free agent after this year. I mean, maybe it's a player option or whatever. So maybe he can get out. But even that, Knicks ain't got the money. Like, I don't know what will we do here? We do not have the money. And you could say, well, you could do a sign and trade. It's a sign and trade. That means Milwaukee doesn't have to do it. So I don't know, guys. What are your thoughts on I'm gonna go with you, Staff, because you was out and I just brought you back in. So you started off. What's your thoughts on this whole Giannis thing? And oh, by the way, if you wanted to say anything about the WNBA, I don't know if you were trying to say something about that. By all means.
No, I wasn't trying to say anything at all about the WNBA, but shout out to them though. I Stewart and that other girl, that other point guard, man, she be letting it fly from the logo. But yes, but shout out to the Liberty, man, because I've been watching them and I've been following them. So shout out to them. As far as Giannis, man, whoo, those are some powerful statements, you know. I mean, I think he did the right thing on what he did. He didn't pull a Lillard where he signed the contract and then wait after a few years to say, well, okay, trade me. He went with the right decision and say, look, I'm all about winning. I want to win in a championship. And if I don't see the commitment from y'all, it don't make no sense for me to spend 15 years in Milwaukee and just bring one championship. I mean, you have to, if you was in Giannis' shoes, you have to feel the pressure because you got greats like LeBron and Steph and Dirk. No, not Dirk, but Duncan and all these guys who has multiple championships and you just have one. You know, so I could see where Giannis said, well, like, yeah, man, if y'all not committed, I want to be out and I want to go to a contender where I would achieve multiple rings and be one of the greats, not just to have one championship. So I think Giannis went ahead and did the right move. You know what I mean? I would love for him to come on the Knicks. That's a given right there. Who wouldn't want a I think is a 2-time league MVP? You know, the guy is a beast. You know, he works on his body. He's still not a shooter, right? But you know, he's a guy who could get to the paint. You know, and he's unstoppable unless you gonna build a brick wall like how Miami did. And I think it was Boston back then who eliminated him. I think it's 2 years ago. Correct me if I'm wrong. But yeah, but Giannis is a winner, man. If the Knicks have a chance to go get him, go get him. You know, I think people are ready for a championship in New York. It's been over 50 years. I don't think we had a dominant superstar since Carmelo. So I'm all in agreement of I'm going to go get Giannis. If it's to give up a Julius, Quentin Grimes, a Fournier, and even 5 picks, I'm with it. I'm with it. I'm with it. So yeah, man, that's my assessment on Giannis. If you could get him, bring him.
Well, I hear you on that. And before I move it around, another thing that it's not really a big deal, but just to think about it, I already praised him for how much effort, how hard he works to get baskets and to dominate and what he does when knowing that he can't shoot. But that does take a lot of effort, right? And Giannis has been in the league 10 years, and he's 28 years old. So the other thing you got to think, and this is just the law, right? At some point, NBA players or any athletes, right, they lose a little step. They might lose athleticism. They might lose speed. So how effective and how much, we don't even know how much more. To me, honest, if I'm just reading between the lines, I don't think Giannis is going to be playing that much longer. I mean, I could see him here another 3, maybe 4 years. I don't know if Giannis wants to be here that long, but just whatever. But even if he is here that long, you know, a lot of his production is built up on how, I mean, this guy's explosive. He's fast. He gets by people. What happens when he loses a step? He can't really get by people. And we already know he's not a great shooter.
Just let me say one more thing, Ron. Showing, we don't have to give up Brunson, bro. I mean, you see it your way, and I understand we have, in your opinion, we have to give up Randall and Brunson, but I think the differ. I don't think we have to give up Brunson, yo. That's the cream of the crop for Giannis to come over here, influence him to come over here to play with us, not to get rid of him and make Giannis come over, and then we have to search for another point guard. I don't see that logic showing, you know what I mean? I just have to give a slight pushback on that. And King Ribby, yeah, if I gotta give up Randall, listen, I'm about the name in front and not the name in the back, right? So if you gotta give up Julius, and Julius is my guy, you know what I mean, to go get a superstar for us to win a ring for over 50 years, I'm doing it, bro. You understand what I'm saying? But yeah, that's all I want to say, bro. We don't necessarily have to give up Brunson in order to get Giannis. We got a whole plethora of picks. We got a couple contracts that need to go out. You know what I mean? And we got some young studs, and we got a ton of draft picks. So it's not necessarily that we have to give up Brunson. Coco, I know you didn't say that. It's Showing that said that. So you know, yeah, we don't have to give up Brunson, but Randall, Fournier, you know, maybe a Grimes and 5 picks. I think that would do it to get Giannis.
And don't shortchange the fact that RJ might have to go in that as well. I'm just saying. saying,
maybe.
But and also we don't even know if that would do it. We don't even know if Milwaukee would want any of our players like that. But the other side of it is, before we get around, I just wanted to say, if I got to trade Brunson, then why am I doing the deal? Because Milwaukee has a solid team right now, but they haven't been able to do what they've done in the past. They haven't been able to win another chip with all the good players that they got over there. They've got a really solid point guard in Drew Holiday that hasn't equated to a championship for them, right, since then. So I would not trade Brunson to get Giannis over here and then have to figure out how am I going to get another solid point guard, because it ain't easy to find a good point guard. And then when you find the point guard, like, you gotta, it all has to fit, and it's not easy. Milwaukee hasn't been able to repeat because it's not easy. So I just don't. And the other thing is, I don't care who it is, whether it be Donovan Mitchell, Joel Embiid, Giannis Antetokounmpo, although he's a little different because he's such a special talent. I don't know how they win with the Knicks if Jalen Brunson is not here. I feel like Jalen Brunson has to be a part of that mix to get.
You don't entertain a conversation without him there. That's the end of that.
Yeah, I don't see it. I don't know how you do it. So, yeah, that's that. Shout out to AA in the building. Salute to you. Gideon Amanqua. What up, G Money?
Gee.
Salute. Animal Lex is in the building. Salute. Wesley Robinson is here. Salute. And also Lonnie Meeks, which, Lonnie, I think I may have seen your name before, but if you are new, thank you for being here and supporting the show. Appreciate having you. And he had mentioned something. He said, if there won't be a spot for Rokus on the Knicks, why not trade his rights in a package for an NBA star? Well, Lonnie, that may very well happen. And don't think it's not. It's all, they always use their chips when they want to. He's definitely on their mind. We don't know what's going to happen, but if they need to do it, they will. Yeah. So, D, your thoughts on the whole Giannis Antetokounmpo rumors?
Yeah, sure. So, when Milwaukee lost, I remember I could show you the episode where I said, I could really see Giannis being dismayed by what happened there, especially after coach got fired, and him wanting to see something. We should look into that, right? And that was it. I said, dude, you crazy. Da, 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 da. And it's just funny how these rumors surface. But listen, here's the thing with superstars at his caliber is that if they go somewhere, it's because that's the place that they want to go. And therefore, both organizations will meet in the middle and work out something in which both sides could be satisfied. But if you're trying to get somebody that doesn't want to go there, especially at that tier or only at that tier, right? You can't put a number or a measure together through players and picks that can go ahead and relate to or the exchange rate to what you're getting back. Because when an organization gives up a player like Giannis, right, that means they're starting over from ground zero. So what are they looking at? They're looking at draft picks that are going to get them in the lottery every year because they have to build their roster and they have to look for that star. So that's why it's not ideal to go ahead and deal guys to teams that are going to compete because you're not going to get any lottery picks from it. So people have to think about that when these rumors start swirling it around. And it's not that it's impossible. The reality of the situation is that in today's modern NBA, it depends on stars and superstars. If Giannis says, look, listen, F you guys, I want to go to New York. That's the only way that can possibly happen. And then they'll meet in the middle and say, well, okay, well, we'll take your 5 or 6 draft picks, and we'll take this guy, we'll take that guy, we'll make it work. Because that's what happened with Kevin Durant to Phoenix. That's what happened with Bradley Beal to Phoenix. So it's not impossible, but it's just improbable. It doesn't really happen a lot. Especially with owners, they look at to go ahead and tone down that type of stuff anyway, because the reality of the situation is that they're losing a lot of money. With these stars having been able to have such a big say and them going to where they want to go. So you might see a crackdown then. That's why you see guys getting paid higher rates and stuff like that and inflation and all that type of stuff. So, but I don't think it's realistic. The only thing and Ron, you brought up something that I was going to talk about, and that you know, when his player option would be in the year 25, 26 at 51 mil. The money doesn't bother me. The money is fine because listen, if you bring a caliber like that in and you still have your roster together, right? You're championship contending. Most championship contenders are going over the luxury tax anyway. So that really does. It's just a matter of does James Dolan, how much does he want to pay in taxes? And then I don't think that would be a problem, especially if you're looking to be Eastern Conference Finals bound or Finals bound. He brought up a very good point. Because Giannis has had the inability to be a consistent perimeter player, whether in catch and shoot or off the bounce or within sets, you do wonder if he gets another injury or two, how the hell will he be able to play at this level where he's playing it now? Because, I mean, he's got a great ball handle for his size, and he could read the game, so that really helps him a lot. But it's not like Giannis puts you in the post, and it's like, wow, you know, Giannis got game in the post. Wow, Giannis has a great face-up game. Wow, you know, his stuff is very downhillish. He's attacking the closeout. He's attacking people in transition. And his length and ability and his athleticism gets him to where he needs to get. So that's a very good question. And 30 years old, I mean, I thought it was kind of crazy when you said that you don't think Giannis would he only last like 3 or 4 years. Injury would be the only thing that would stop him. But then you look at a guy like KD, you know, he's had multiple injuries, especially over the last couple of years. And when he gets to the court, he's balling. And I know his game is different. He's more perimeter oriented. He can take you off the dribble and get to his spots. But my point is that it is a concern. And that's why if Giannis was ever in the conversation of anything, it would be in that 24, 25 year when he has his player option in which he could decline. We'll go ahead, we'll pay him a little short contract and stuff like that in order to join the roster. I ain't giving up Jack. If he was 24, 25 doing this, that's a different conversation. But, you know, hitting towards that 30 and stuff like that, you definitely want to be cautious of injury history and stuff like that, especially that it's his style of play, too. If he had a jump shot and he was able to get to his spots on the perimeter, it's a different conversation. But the fact that he's so heavily reliant on being able to go downhill and get to the cup and use his length and athleticism in order to get where he has to get, it does cause some concern. But in short, I wouldn't entertain this to 24, 25, and I wouldn't give up anything to get him.
Yeah. I mean, that makes sense. That's fair. I think that's the way you got to look at it as a business. I think that I'm just, you know, when I said that about Giannis, just wouldn't be surprised if could he stay playing? Yes, but I wouldn't be surprised if he just decides to walk away, because Giannis just strikes me as a different type of guy. Like, you never know with him. If he's has his mind set up, I'm going to walk away from the game, and I still can play. I could see him walking away. I could see him hitting the Barry Sanders on us. I wouldn't be surprised, but whatever. Getting over to Andy.
Don't forget, Ron. He did say if he was to leave the NBA, he will go to the Saudi league and play for a lot of money. So you got to throw that in there too. You know what I mean? So it's not necessarily he might want to stay with the NBA. Them Saudis are throwing a lot of money, bro. You see what Ronaldo get for going over there, and then they got the young guy from PG about to go get that money too. So you never know. You never know.
That's true. That's fair. I mean, yeah, because he loves the game. It doesn't matter. It doesn't necessarily mean he loves the NBA. He'll play where his heart takes him. So he is that type. I don't know. He's different, man. I like Giannis, man. I don't know.
Ron, before you move on to Andy, right? One more thing to keep into consideration. Remember I told you about the draft pick in 2025 of all Milwaukee draft pick, right? That's top 4 protected.
You did mention that, right?
Okay, and I had mentioned the fact that because this is the way Giannis is thinking, this is probably how Milwaukee ownership is thinking as well. Chris Middleton, I love Chris Middleton, but it looks like injuries have caught up to him. Hopefully he can have a comeback season next season and be the guy he was. But he's 32 years old. You know, Drew Holiday, still a premier two-way player in this league and stuff like that. But you even saw it in the Miami series. He's 32 years old. And plus, his brother played like trash against USA, bro. But anyway, so Milwaukee's thinking this. They're thinking like, listen, we got a bunch of older guys. We got Mojan Beauchamp, which you're going to see a much expanded role for him this season, especially he had a good summer league too as well. But they're thinking life without Giannis, and especially bringing in a rookie coach and stuff of that nature. So, you know, if I'm Giannis, I would be thinking along the same plane as well. You might see him demand something within the next year or so.
I could see it happening. So I'll shout out the chat after Andy speaks. Andy, your thoughts on this whole Giannis thing?
Yeah, Ron, I'm gonna go short here because you guys basically covered everything on Giannis except one thing, that he has 3 brothers. So it probably would be a package deal. 2 already in the NBA. They actually signed Kostas and they released him already. So probably because, you know, just money-wise or his rights to the G League or whatever. But he was playing in Greece last year. And they still have a younger brother, which is, I think, 15 or 16 this year. So, you know, he's still on the come up. And I'll go that way. I'm with Deal. I'm a realist. I don't listen. The first thing the dude said that he might consider not resigning, and we already have, you know, photoshopped, you know, Giannis in the Knicks jersey, you know, and no, the sources, the sources, meaning, you know, graphic designers that are Knicks fans on Twitter, you know, are stirring this pot currently, right? There wasn't even one reporter, I think, mentioning Giannis. So I think this is way too early to be talking these rumors. But like you guys said, you guys covered everything, you know, throughout the athleticism of him and his game not being, you know, probably, you know, worth that much money after a couple of years from now. I'm not sure. If you would ask me how I would, you know, tweak this topic, I could see a couple of players in the current NBA that I would rather trade the Giannis package from the Knicks and get those guys.
But it goes to show you how important the draft is, because when you find a guy, what do? You keep him. And then if somebody wants him, you're gonna ask for a king's ransom. You're gonna ask for all the draft picks, all their star players, right? Their mothers, daughters, cousins, fathers, uncles. You're gonna ask for everybody, and that's why the draft is so important. And then when you start doing the science on the draft and start seeing how many players become all-stars to the draft per year, then you start understanding how valuable it is, to have a star guy. They don't grow on trees. So that's why when people go ahead and say, I don't need them. Like, yo, bro, like, you better check yourself before you wreck yourself, because they don't come around like that. And if you do have the opportunity by some serendipity to get it, and it ain't going to cost you a lot, you take it. But that's...
No, that's very true, man. These superstars do not grow on trees, man. And in today's NBA, less than ever before. Because say what you will, there's a lot of NBA talent out there. These young guys, they look good. They've got some stuff that you can really say, okay, you know, but they haven't taken it to the next level yet. And they have to show that they belong at that next level. It's not easy. It doesn't come overnight. And something has to click with these players. And so, for example, Anthony Edwards, just real quick, like, he might be the guy to take that next step. We're seeing some good things coming from him, but we're also seeing it versus, you know, overall lesser competition in FIBA for now that we're getting into you know, all the qualifying stuff is out and we're getting into real games. Maybe the competition level will be, and so this is where we really need to see if he steps up. But like, there's guys who have all types of talent, but being a superstar and being a guy who can carry the league, you got to take your game to the next level. You got to be on when no one else is on. Like, we take for granted how good games were and how good players were back in the day. Like, you just go back and look at some of these basketball games. Now, defense was tough, right? But look at some of these games, man. Look at the teams, the Jordans, the, you know, whatever, the Detroits, whatever team you think, the Phoenixes with Stockton. Look at how many baskets these guys make throughout the game. You go back and forth, everybody's hitting, just hitting, and then there's stops, but they hitting. You leave a guy open, it's wet. Like, nowadays, the game don't look the same to me. So I'm just saying it ain't that easy. You can't pencil it in as a lock. So we'll see who is the next. They want to give it to different guys. They want to give it to Ja Morant and all these, but these guys got to show that they deserve it and that they're that type. We'll see. We'll see what happens. That's a great
point, Ron. So how was that proven back in the day?
Oh, just by being consistent, and also stepping up in clutch moments. When I would say a lot
winning.
Winning. Yeah. Well, of course,
winning
you
at a
win.
high level though. That's just regular season stuff.
Yeah. No, definitely, 100%. Shout out to the chat once again. Lion of Judah, shalom, my brother. Appreciate you. We definitely salute you. He's like grand rising to the brothers. Yes, always a pleasure. Ron Sarmiento is in the building. Salute, Ron. Hope you're doing well. Knicks 100. What's good? Salute to you. If I missed anybody, I apologize, but definitely the love is there. Knicks 1 today is in the building. Salute to you, my brother. Hope you're doing well. But I want to get to Mr. Parrish. Oh, shout out to Allah Wise too. Appreciate you, my brother. Good to see you. Want to get to Mr. Parrish Duggar. Parrish, thank you for the generous super chat. Appreciate you as always, my brother. Salute to you. He says RJ can't make adjustments. He's built to shoot. The coach has to adjust to RJ's minutes when he's off. Tibbs hurt RJ and JR by not holding them accountable. It's one of those things that never gets old, Parrish. We kind of sweep it under the rug because the Knicks have shown some success. We made it to the second round, so there's positives to look at. But it goes back to something that we've talked about in the past and something I know I've said and others have said. There's certain bad habits that have crept up on this team, certain levels of entitlement that Tibbs has created the culture of, that he hasn't really policed the way you would think a coach of his magnitude would. I said this guy's a disciplinarian. He runs a tight ship, but then he lets all this other loose stuff go. The lack of defensive responsibility, poor shot takes, where guys are in position. He's giving people the green light to take whatever shot they want. And then when it's not falling, and they're shooting X amount of times to get, a limited amount of points, it's just, and overall, it hurts the team. It hurts the team. And it also puts people in a position like RJ was not as selfish as he was last year. He was never that selfish before. And like you get this level of selfishness that he's kind of created. And you don't want to blame Tibbs for everything, but that's the culture. He's the coach. So you got to say some of the stuff that he lets fly that he doesn't correct when it's happening, it manifests into something bigger. RJ feels the need. And then when you also listen, you say what you want. We all know that there's a fourth quarter mantra on this Knick team. Maybe it's a little different now that Jalen Brunson's here, but we know in the fourth quarter, if you're going for your points, Tibbs is like, go get it. He may not say it openly, but we know that RJ was playing last minutes of games trying to get to that 20-point mark. We saw Julius go nut to try to finish off his stats in the fourth quarter too. Some wild stuff going on with that, but it is what it is.
And their clutch numbers were terrible besides Jalen, by the way. But
yeah. So I just think that
they were clearly stat padding. If Julius had a bad game and the Knicks were up, he was bringing back Julius just to stat pad, go, get around that 20 mark and stuff.
Yeah, I agree. And I think, and part of it too, there is like a little bit of the Knicks are like a PR firm. We talked about this before. They got a lot of stuff that's in place to promote the likeness of the brand and can keep it going. That's why they're always sold out, because they give a benefit to businesses that are looking to do whatever they got going on. The other side of it too is, especially early in the season, the stat padding. Somebody said it. I forgot who said it, and he justified it. And then I looked at it and I was like, you know what? I wouldn't be surprised if they are kind of thinking that. Stat padding early in the season before the All-Star game. Knicks want to make sure they're well represented too. It also lends credence to the brand. So getting an RJ, not RJ per se, but getting a Julius Randle in the All-Star game, you know what I mean? It's a benefit. It shows that we've got something that you should want to be a part of, right? So sometimes when I heard the guy say it, he broke it down in a certain way. I was like, that actually does make sense in a warped sense of if you're only thinking about business and not the purity of the game and what we got going on and how we're trying to create our culture. I could see it. That's a whole nother thing. That's a whole nother story. We can spend time on that. Yeah. But thank you once again, Paris, for the generous super chat.
Can you go back to Paris real quick?
Oh yeah, sure.
Because I would say so real quick to it, and it's a very good point he brings up, because this is more of like a prophecy than opposed to like going down memory lane, because these things do come into play. It's like your sink is clogged, and you didn't fix the pipe. At some point, it's going to overflow, and this is very important coming into the season where you're held accountable. You know what I'm saying? And everybody considers Tibbs a great coach and stuff like that. I don't think he's a great coach. I think he's a good coach. But, great coaches hold their players accountable. They do. Listen to the players. They'll tell you. And this is very important. And, we know that Jalen Brunson is not a good defender. But where's the accountability? It's like, Jalen, let's just try to contain the basketball tonight. Like, let's just try. And that's a ripple effect. You know what I'm saying? Because once you see your star doing it or your superstar doing it, it goes down the line. Then he feels like he don't want to do it that night. Then he feels like he wants to take the shot here and stuff like that. It's just very important stuff that Parrish is talking about here.
Everybody, gives this guy a hard time, Coach Thibodeau. And, they got some things I don't like about him, yes. But at the same time, and this is just my opinion, right? We say accountable. I want to see when we do get rid of Tibbs and we fire him, all the Tibbs fire us people and all of that, and he ain't doing this and he ain't do. I want to see the next coach take us to this such promised land that everybody is saying, that this is the coach and he's not going to take us to a championship. Which other coach is going to come in here and take us to a championship? Which other coach is not going to have bad flaws like what Tim Thibodeau has? Because once we bring in the other coach and we see his flaws, we're going to start cursing him out too. Just how they curse out Nick Nurse, just how they curse out Steve Kerr when he's a championship coach also too, just how they cursed out Budenholzer. It's like, what coach is out there is so perfect that everything has to be 100%. And this is the thing I don't understand. Everybody is not going to be perfect or this great genius coach that everybody wants to expect that this franchise must get. So, all the weeks, we hit Tom Thibodeau with all these flacks. I want to see what coach that's going to come in and take us to the promised land. Because all these things that we're saying about Thibodeau, I see it in other coaches too. So, to the panel, what coach, if we was to fire Tibbs, would you want to come in here and think that they could take us to the promised land?
I got an easy answer. Y'all could go first.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm not gonna really get into the coach that I think could take us to the next level right now. I had a coach that I always liked that I thought would be great fit here. But as far as taking us to the next level, no, I can't say that he would take us to the next level. So I'm not going to throw his name out there. But what I will say before I pass it over is that I think that Tom Thibodeau is the perfect coach for what we have been dealing with in these past few years with the Knicks. I think he was the right coach for them to bring in. I think he's the type of coach that brought the cachet in which to change the culture that was here, because the culture here was horrible. We had no culture. We had a bunch of coaches that came in that were inexperienced and didn't even know what they were doing out there. Hornacek, Fisher, Fitzdale, like guys who didn't know what they were doing. They got cosigns. Like Fizdale got the biggest cosign ever from all the players. Guy came here and did nothing. I don't know what he was trying to do here. And then he didn't run any offense, any sets. He just had guys out there playing, winging it. And then you get Fisher, a first-year coach, not whatever. Rambus, like all these guys. Like, what are we doing here? All right, you know what I mean? Like, so Tom Thibodeau came here and brought stability. Gave the team an identity. Had some players he could build off of that played the way he wanted them to play. We weren't the greatest offensive team, but we could play defense. Then they decided to switch up, brought in some offensive players that couldn't play defense. Doesn't work for Thibodeau's system. He looked bad out there with that, right? Now he's got a little bit more of a better semblance of cohesion for the type of game that you think he wants to play. And so I expect the Knicks to be good this year. I expect them to be as good as they were last year, if not better. However, now that we've been here and now that he's changed the culture and now that we have better players, better NBA players here and young guys who are starting to learn, who can take the next level. I mean, take the next step to get to the next level, which I'm assuming could be quickly and could be Grimes. I'm not saying RJ necessarily because the problem I have with RJ is the defensive side. Even if he gets better offensively, he still's got to do something on that defense to help us out. But Grimes and Quickly do play good, solid defense. I think that we've seen enough to know that Tom Thibodeau could. Do you want to give the guy a shot that maybe he can do it? Yes, I think this year is his shot. He's got to show that he can take a better team, because I don't care what anybody says. I still feel like this is a better team than last year, because even if you're saying they didn't do much change, this one more year removed of guys playing in this system, understanding what Thibodeau expects, getting a glimpse of the playoffs, understanding what they need to do. Like, Quickly was horrible in the playoffs. Grimes was horrible in the playoffs. Julius was horrible in the playoffs. You can't tell me this team can't get better. So with that being said, I think the pieces are in place that now Tom Thibodeau could go somewhere else, and you got enough good, smart, solid basketball players here that another coach could come in and get similar stuff out of them and maybe something different out of them. Maybe the coach comes in and has a good defensive idea, but he's a better orchestrator on offense and can get more out of them that way. I think there's a way that it can happen. I just don't feel like Thibodeau to me sometimes gets the deer in the headlights thing when it comes to the playoffs. Whatever he was doing in the regular season, I give him kudos for. I think he's a fantastic regular season coach, and this past year has been the best I've seen him, because I think he made some adjustments that we have been asking for him to do. He's held a couple people accountable in moments, put him on the bench at times. We never saw him do that before. But when we got to the playoffs, we got some adversity, and I don't know if he knew what to do or how to handle it. Julius wasn't showing up. You got the injury with Quickly, and then when he was out there, he didn't do much. And then Grimes kind of, closed up. I don't think he knew exactly how to handle it, and I think he gets a little overwhelmed in the playoffs. He tries to do too much sometimes. That's my own opinion, but let's move around. Let me go to Andy and then get to DD. Don't forget the guy you think might work. Andy, what's your thoughts on what Staff has said about, is there another coach you think could come into the Knicks and take them to the next level?
Well, from what I think there's no such answer here. It's hard to give out a name that's going to be a certain upgrade over Tibbs. And why I say that, you can say, for example, it could be Greg Popovich, whatever. Until he implements his system and stuff like that, he's going to have roster changes. Question is if all the players going to buy into that kind of system and stuff like that. So me personally, I think that coaches should have a longer leash, even if it doesn't look like they're doing a perfect job, because there's no such thing as a perfect job as a coach, because you're going to have a couple of people say that he should have done this, he should have done that. But he's the coach. He's the front man. He's the guy with his head on the line when it goes bad, right? And for me personally, I think Tibbs pulled more strings the right way instead of the bad way, because we improved. And like I said, I don't see that even if D comes up with a perfect name, that he can guarantee that it's going to be a better job than what Tibbs would do, right? So, and listen, for example, the systems that we love to watch in the NBA, the Golden State Warriors, if you would bring Steve Kerr with this current Knicks roster that can't make a bucket from three, you think they would be automatically championship contenders? No, they wouldn't. You would like the game looking differently, because they would move the ball around and stuff like that. But the question is if Steve Kerr would be doing that if he didn't have the personnel with that, right? So he might be like, listen, we got to pound the ball. We got to play ISO ball, right? Mm-hmm. So it's hard to justify this question. And for me, there's no good answer here. Personally, I would keep Tibbs for at least a couple of seasons. And it's not that I'm saying that I'm his fan 100%, because I also know that, he could improve in certain situations, like you said, playoffs and substitution patterns, management and stuff like that. But there's no answer that the new coach would be better in those aspects, or would, even if he's going to be better in those aspects, if he's going to be able to maintain, the things that Tibbs does good, right? So,
yeah. And Andy, better or worse? We don't know the answer to that question, right?
Exactly.
So it's in the debate world, it's a loaded question because you can't get a solidified answer from it, right? So what we'll do is this, right? Let's say, for example, right, and this is purely hypothetical, and it's based on the loaded question. If Tibbs was to have a first round exit this year, would it matter bringing in another coach? Because Tibbs didn't do jack. So therefore, now we're going to see this new blood and see what this new blood can do. So I think. So just real quick, Andy, I'm almost up. Like, what has Tibbs done? That I don't know. Like, maybe my barometer for things are a little bit different, but I don't see something that has been done where it's like, oh shit, bro, yo, man, we got to keep Tibbs. Yo, let's build this statue of Tibbs here. You know what I'm saying? Let's make sure we'll keep him, and we can't wait to go ahead and congratulate him on his Hall of Fame speech. He hasn't done anything like that. He's still on a proving ground, just like Julius Randle, just like RJ Barrett. He's still on a proving ground to see where he is going to take this team. and if this team is going to make it and advance to an Eastern Conference Finals this year, or to a Finals, or a guy's going to properly develop and leap from one year to the next. There's so many questions. This is a big proving ground for Tibbs, as it would be anybody that has not reached those barometers of success. So I don't get it.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think it's true that that's a tough question to answer, because there's so many different variables that you got to consider. And there's always this, all these different coaches. For the most part, like, when you get into the nitty gritty, the systems start at the same base, right? And it's how you take the base and go from there. But it's still, there's so many different changes and personnel options that fit coaches' styles. It would be tough. And I think the other thing as Knicks fans that we have to sometimes agree and accept, right? As much as I don't want to accept it sometimes, you got to accept the fact that the Knicks are ready to win now. They are moving and trending. All the moves that they are doing are showing you that this is where they want to go. They've passed the whole rookie phase, cultivating talent, or whatever you want to call it. How do you feel that they developed the talent or not? But they've done that, and they've smelt the playoffs, right? Then they didn't get there the year before, but last year we got back and we got to the next round. Knicks are ready, right? But if you're ready, you can't necessarily guarantee that you're going to bring in a coach and he's going to pick up right where everything is left off. You might have to kind of not reset, but you got to get that whole thing going again. And the Knicks don't want to do that. And so for those fans who may not want to see Tibbs here, I feel like Tibbs is here and he's going to be here because it's just easier to keep things going. And listen, if I'm in a front office and I'm trying to see how can I get this team better, I've already looked. We've had some success last year, because no matter what you say about last year and how we squandered an opportunity that Miami kind of capitalized on, it still was a good season for the New York Knicks. The Knicks still finished with 47 wins and made it to the second round of the playoffs. So as a business, you got to look at, there's the positive, right? So as much as I may say, man, there's certain things Tibbs could have done better, or I would like to be different. This is what we did, and he's here, and we already know that the guys know what he wants, and they know how to play his style of basketball. And we just added another piece that fits his style. So you got to let that play out. It's just easier to do that. Now I feel
just to add something, but
yeah. And another thing too, right? Before you go, D, right? We have a owner that does not like to rebuild. So if we were to rebuild, right, we would have go into a coach like Kenny Atkins or some other type of development coach to come in and start from ground. But James Dolan doesn't want to do that. He wants to win, right? And when he brought in Leon Rose, right? Leon Rose was that person to get us the stars, and William Wesley with his links and all of that to keep us on a winning track. Then he went and got Tibbs, who, as you said, Ron, is a coach that's ready to win, right? So basically what I'm saying, man, with an owner like James Dolan, is no way in hell that he wants to rebuild. He wants to just keep on taking that chance. You understand what I'm saying? So you may not like Tibbs, you may not choose some of the things that he does, but as to what Ron says, he put us on a different track. He changed the culture. People might say, what culture, right? What development? But he has brought us quickly. He has brought us Grimes. People might rate Grimes, but I rate him. You know what I mean? Julius, a 2-time All-Star, and Jalen Brunson is the leader of the team they brought in. So I see it as a culture change. I see him coaching the team a little better. I think the team has changed, and team has gotten better. And I'm looking for better things, Ron, because I'm looking to see Tom Thibodeau this year take us to a different level. And if we listen, that's what you were saying, D. If he was to lose in the first round, I will be highly disappointed. Mm-hmm. I'll be disappointed in the players, and I'll be disappointed in him. It's a collective thing, right? But at the same time, people got expectations. And in this year, as Ron said, Tibbs got it all right now. And if he can't capitalize, that's the question now, right, that I was coming back to. What coach is going to take us to another level? So I agree with Andy that I think he should be extended another leash, even if we was to get out the first round, and see, where we could go, because, we're going to still make changes, but we're not going to rebuild. So get that out of your head. James Dolan is not going for that. Okay,
hold on. So first of all, if you don't want to rebuild, you're an idiot. That's number one. Because the course of the NBA history has shown that 97% of teams that win championships or win multiple championships worked through a rebuilding process. That's point blank final. And I'm being nice with that number. Here's another one too. And I want to be very clear about this, because people they hear certain words and then they go off on emotion and they're not listening. Like their ears have already shut off. So let's make something very clear. Tom Thibodeau and Jalen Brunson were the highest priority of reasoning to where we got last year. So let's make that very clear. Tom Thibodeau did a magnificent magic trick. And what he did was he goes, I know our defense is shit. So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to totally slow down the pace, right? Which is him anyway. He loves that. I'm going to shorten up the possessions, right? And I think getting Josh Hart really helped with that, because they went 18-7 before the playoffs. And they called it a genjutsu. If anybody watches Naruto, that's a genjutsu. It's an illusion. It's appearing that you're a great defense, but in actuality, you're really not. And that's why the defensive rating overall for the team last year was 20th in the league. That means that only 10 or 11 teams were worse than them defensively overall in all categories put combined, because there was a lot of issues. But Tom Thibodeau did a fantastic job of being able to hide those, playing the brand of basketball which he wanted and which they got to. So he gets credit, right? This is not about just bashing people to bash people. Tom Thibodeau is an NBA coach, okay? You know the level of genius of basketball that you have to be to even sit down on that bench as an assistant coach? Especially with X and O's, especially with reading behavior, especially with learning how to talk to players, communicate, develop your system within it, develop the players within it, finding the right players. You got to be a level of genius to do it. So nobody's taking that away. What we just want to make sure with Tom Thibodeau is that we don't get caught in one-year flukes. Okay? So like the first year, boom, and then they retracted the next year. This year, boom, this happened. Now we want to make sure, and this is why I'm so happy that they made it to the second round, because now we want to see Eastern Conference bound now. Because you have to go to the next level. Anything else is uncivilized, and if you're walking backwards, then you're hustling backwards. So Tom Thibodeau earned himself another year, without a doubt, because he did a magnificent job last year. I will go out to say that I think it was one of his best coaching jobs ever, considering how the season started. You know how it was? He was on the hot seat, bro. Everyone's like, yo, man, it's Tom. I was one of them. Giving up 140, 145 points, 135 points. What in the living F is going on here?
That was crazy.
But he did a fantastic job of turning it around. He wanted to go the 9-man rotation, which he did everything he wanted to do, which kind of gives you a glimpse as to the organization and him. Are they on the same page and stuff like that? Because everything he did to turn the season around was everything he wants to do. Slow down the pace, 9-man rotation, ISO basketball, stuff of that nature. So he's definitely earned himself another year without a doubt. We just want to make sure that he capitalizes, the organization and the players capitalize on the opportunity that's being given. Because if you retract, then you're going backwards. Go ahead, Andy.
Right.
Sorry.
Yeah, I was gonna say, the points that you made, even just adding to the things that you said that Tibbs made. Like, we didn't play great defense, but we had the offense working like that. It just, what you forgot was even the offensive rebounding. They got him Mitch Robinson, which gives you extra positions that can be, go your way versus you, and the same with Josh Hart, right? But going even further with that, I think that why would I not fire Tibbs if he even has a first round exit? It also depends on how he gets the exit. Because, for example, if Jalen Brunson gets injured, God forbid, and he misses like 50 games of the season, I don't think you can blame Tibbs. You literally take the best player or the second best player of this team, so he's still going to have a cushion that he's not going to get fired. Sorry, if the team is fully healthy, he goes to the playoffs and he gets waxed by a lower seeded team or something like that, then you can think about it like, listen, once this happened second time round and stuff like that, we lost to a lower tier than seeded team. Listen, we got to make adjustments, right? But if he's going to make the second round, and for example we're going to go versus Giannis, and Giannis is going to average 60 on us, right? Listen, you got to tip your hat to Giannis, and it's not going to be only on Tibbs that way. It's going to be on way more people than Tibbs. I understand that Tibbs is the coach, he's the front man of the team, and his head was probably going to roll the fastest as far as the whole list on the payroll. But for me, it's hard to imagine that if we are fully healthy and stuff like that, even if we exit in the second round, but we're gonna be fighting till game 7 and stuff like that, I don't see him losing the job, unless, like I said, rookie coach is gonna wax him with a way worse team, and he's gonna look bad and out coached. I don't see that happening though. And like I said, I understand that Tibbs has flaws. I really do. And I'm sometimes, watching the games and I'm thinking to myself, but listen, it works most of the time. So you gotta also tip your hat to Tibbs that in those, manners, right? And just going back to, why I said that, it's not a good thing to hit the reset button on the coach so fast. And I understand it also depends on the market and stuff like that the owner doesn't want to rebuild and make changes. But if you guys think about the coaches that are the longest tenured coaches in the current league, it's Greg Popovich, it's Eric Spoelstra, and Spoelstra had bad seasons. Pop has bad seasons, but you never can underestimate the teams of the Heat, right? I'm not going to say the Spurs, because the Spurs, they had really bad luck with their squads and their roster, because a couple of guys got injured and weren't playing fully healthy. But the Heat, you can't count them out, like we see in the last playoffs.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna thinking about the list. Listen, the third one is probably Steve Kerr. And if I'm correct, I think that the next coach up there, I don't know if it's not Mike Malone from the Nuggets. And they also had bad seasons, and they also had playoff exits.
Yeah.
Playing versus in the playoffs that they were higher seeded and they got bounced, right? So listen, sometimes maybe just sticking with a coach, even if he's not the perfect guy, might work in a favor.
But keep in mind too, Andy, and there is two sides to that coin. That guy like Dwayne Casey, had the Raptors competing every year, and there comes a point in time where it's like, okay, and it depends on circumstance, right? Because you brought up Mike Malone, right? We know damn well if Jamal Murray was healthy for the past 2 or 3 seasons, we would have seen something similar to what we saw this year.
Yeah.
So, and I think the organization knew that too. So it's different circumstances as to why, like you more exposure and pop. But what keeps them out of the hot seat is the multiple championships. So that keeps them out of the hot seat. Where you have a guy like Ted, for example, where he's kind of not in those situations like guys are, especially on the end with Denver, because don't forget Jamal Murray, Jokic, who's the other brother, Michael Porter Jr., stuff like that. Those guys came up with him when they were newborn puppies into the NBA, where that's not the case with Tibbs. You get what I'm saying? So there is some, what's the word I'm looking for? There is some like, damn, I can't think of the word, but they'll go ahead and side some things depending on certain situations. But I think Tibbs is in a totally different situation than those guys that you mentioned. So, go ahead, Steph.
But D, those coaches, what you said, had generational talents. We don't have a generational talent, and
that's on the organization.
He still took corned beef and turned it into lasagna.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, you gotta have generational talent.
So get Tibbs the talent.
That's the organization. That's what they brought in Leon Rose, and that's what Leon Rose is trying to do.
And that goes to the point that I was saying earlier. I think that's what the Knicks are trying to do. I think they see what Tibbs can do and what he may lack, and they're saying, well, let's give Tibbs as much as we can. Let's try to surround him with the type of guys he wants. And then outside of that, if we can give him even better type of talent that can make up for some of our ineptitude, the fact that we don't shoot great from the perimeter, can we go get a star player who can get buckets, who can make up? So like, even if we're not knocking it down from the perimeter, who knows how that guy plays? But if that guy is a bucket getter, like a perennial player, he makes up for that. Because when we need the big bucket in crunch time at those moments, outside of Jalen Brunson, having somebody like that is key. That's why I say, some people don't like it because of the fact that he's not the greatest defender and the size and all that. But I actually think with this current Knick team, if you can keep a lot of the core, I mean, as much as possible, and bring in a guy like Donovan Mitchell, I think we're a better team. I think we're a good team by having Jalen Brunson here.
Yeah.
Now, if Jalen Brunson wasn't here, it's a whole different story. To me, Jalen Brunson is the key to a lot that goes on with this New York Knicks squad.
I agree.
So,
but here's another thing too, Ron, that and just for everybody, is including the chat as well, especially those spamming for no reason, is that people don't understand this with the NBA, and anybody that knows this will totally agree. NBA works in 3 to 5 year cycles. Does people know that? So the people that are on an illusion that like, yeah, we got forever, we got 10 years. That's not how it works. That's why within that 3 or 5, I'll show you a perfect example. Nick Nurse is a perfect example. He came in his first year when they won in, what was that, 18 or 19? Not sure. Had to be
was it 19?
I think it was 18.
18.
I mean, it was 18. Yeah, it was 18.
So he came in his first year, right? And he won a championship. Because he won that one, it bought him 4 or 5 years. And then 4 or 5 years went by. They said, all right, dude, we're cool. We're done. And then they moved on. They got that cat from Serbia, which he's not half bad. So a lot of great players have come under that program there. So I'm interested to see what he does. I know Andy liked that one. So I was interested to see what he does. So, but so everything works in 3 to 5 year cycles. We don't have forever. That's an illusion. That's a lie, and anybody saying that is a fraud. Okay, that's not how the NBA works. Okay, now if you're successful within those first 3 or 5 year windows, and you have a championship and stuff of that nature. So, say for example, Tom Thibodeau wins a championship next year, right? Tom Thibodeau just bought himself another 4 or 5 years. That's what that means. That ain't no owner, ain't no fan base, ain't no people that are invested into an organization going to be waiting 4 or 5 years for a guy to get waxed out of the first round every year. And look at Portland. Portland's a great example of that. Greg Stotts, magnificent offensive coach, but he's a magnificent offensive coach. And that's why they had to, okay, man, we've had enough of the first round exits. This is your 6th year on the cycle. You got to go now. So we don't have forever.
That's true. True. And, shout out to Josh, a.k.a. Uncle Fulio. Good to see you, my brother. He said, Tibbs is on the clock, period. Championship winning or contending coaches have been fired for way less. Right or wrong, it's just how the business is. I mean, remember what happened to Cleveland Cavaliers, David Blatt. This guy did nothing wrong. A perennial winner. This coach, his resume overseas, like, if you just look at that, like, go down my whole arm, and I'm like, damn, this guy, I had no idea. When they got David Blatt, I was like, okay, who's this dude? But then when you actually look into him, David Blatt is a beast. Like, he came here, and they wanted, like, I don't know, whatever.
Dwayne Casey.
Andy, what were you gonna say?
Throw him in there too. Dwayne
Casey. I was gonna say just a thing that the only Tibbs advantage that he has is that he is really close with not only the management, but also with Jalen Brunson, and even probably Julius Randle, that he's not gonna have players versus him. Unless he really stirs something the wrong way. So that might keep him a little bit longer.
That's a good point.
It's not going to be 5 years. It's going to be a season longer. But we know that.
Dude, 1 second, guys. I'll be right back. 1 second.
Yeah, one thing we know that when there's the split in the locker room and the star players goes against the coach, that coach is gone. They ain't training that player because the coach doesn't agree with him. They changing the coach. So I think that's where Tibbs has an advantage because he has Leon and he has Jalen in his corner. So I think that's a huge advantage for Tibbs, and that's why I think I'm not even going to say that he's on the clock. Unless he doesn't make the playoffs. I think the playoffs is like, doesn't matter if it's through play-in or top 6. I think if he makes the playoffs, he's not going to get fired.
Yeah, I think I agree with that. Shout out to David Smith as well. Apologies.
No, but Andy, playoffs is a must though, regardless if it's play-in or, because that's what James Dolan's want, right? And if you look at, but hold on, if you look at, I don't know if y'all heard of this, not heard of it, but they read this article. Like, one seat in the Garden is like how many thousands of dollars. So when you don't fill seats in the playoffs around that time, James Dolan is not a very happy camper.
Yeah, but I will say that, I mean, the flip side of that, Staffa, is James Dolan has the benefit of having the most profitable franchise in NBA. And also, regardless of whether the Knicks make the playoffs or not, if you equate it to just value of your investment, the Knicks sell out every single game. So that accounts and makes up for other teams in small markets that can't fill the seats, who never make the playoffs. Like, he's already making money hand over fist with all the endorsements and the things that are coming through. Yeah, I think on that side of it, he's good. Do I think he wants to have a losing team? No. I think he wants them to win and he wants them to get better, but he's not. The good thing about James Dolan right now, some people may not like it, he's not forcing the issue. Okay. In the past, as a young owner, he didn't know what the hell he was doing. And he probably still doesn't know what the hell he's doing, but he knows that he doesn't know what the hell he's doing. And so he's listening to, seriously, he's listening to other people and saying, okay, I tried to do this. I brought these people in and put these people in power and it didn't work out. So then I listened to you guys and I brought Phil Jackson in and put him in power and let him run the show. And that didn't work out necessarily. It wasn't horrible. He had some good things, but he's a coach. Okay. Him in the GM role, not necessarily the it, right? Now, I think the Leon Rose kind of thing, it has been beneficial. Has it been perfect? No. But the good thing about that, too, is as much as we want to be upset with certain moves that they're making or have made or not made, maybe they're learning. Maybe they're learning. Maybe each year we see something like we can say, okay, oh, well, that's different. Like there were certain things this year that we looked at and said, okay, well, the front office did something right. They got something good. Jalen Brunson being here is good. Josh Hart being here is good. Giving him money, that's a whole other story, but whatever. I just think that there's certain things that everybody's learning because it's all new. It's all new. The only constant that's here that is not new is Tom Thibodeau. But even his coaching staff, Daddy Brunson is in a new position here. What's his face from Utah? Like this is new for him, being at this high level and being an assistant, like he's an assistant coach, associated coach, right? So this is all new stuff, and I think with time they're all getting it. But I like I said, I'm not one of those things again is not to bash Tibbs. There's certain things that I was not happy that Tibbs was doing, but this past year I'm gonna admit it again. I saw some good things from Tibbs, and he made some improvements. So I can't be mad at him. I thought he did great in the regular season. Playoffs, I started to get that itch again. It's like, oh man, caught me again. But but I think right now he's the best option. Do I think that he has some type of cachet? Yes, he's got to get out of jail free card. But I do think that if the Knicks are fairly healthy and they don't make the playoffs, I think Tibbs is out of here. I do think that if RJ Barrett has another season like last year, I think RJ Barrett is out of here. That's my thought. So that's why, I think RJ Barrett's going to be out of here.
Now you can't really fight him for his opinion. And a lot of people feel the same way as you, Ron.
No, but don't get me wrong. I'm a weird one because I can say that, and I can also with the same breath tell you that I think RJ, and I don't know, did I say it earlier? I was about to say it. I don't know how he's going to do it, but I think RJ is going to have the best season he's ever had as a New York Knick this year.
Oh,
sounds crazy.
Right. I hope you're right.
I know it sounds crazy, but I have a feeling he will because it's not that hard to do. He had a really bad efficiency from an efficiency standpoint season last year. He scored 19, 20 points, but it was very bad efficiency wise. And other things, the rebounding, the assist total, getting other guys involved, he can clean a lot of that up easily. Defense, that's going to take more effort. He's got to really hunker down and figure out. This is a man who needs to watch tape. He needs to say, who am I playing tonight? Washington. Okay, who's their best player? Who am I guarding? Okay, what does he like to do? He likes to go. Let me stop him from doing that. Maybe I can't stop everything. Let me try to get him to stop doing that. What? He shoots 31% from three, but he shoots 48% from two. Okay, I'm gonna have to push this guy out. I'm gonna back up a little bit when he's coming at me. Like, you gotta, like, I'm not a genius, but that just makes sense. I don't know. Whatever. All right. So on to the next one. The next topic, I think that
was just good conversation, though.
Yeah. This is the last topic for the day, guys.
Okay.
Hold on, did I?
Damn, it's 2 o'clock already. Jeez,
time flies, man. So this is the last topic for the day, and I think this is an interesting topic, but it can point to other things, and it kind of points to the whole fact that I'm like wondering how the hell did this happen, right? JJ Reddick says he regrets not being able to play in the Garden as a Knick. Well, listen to that. I regret. Facts. Not that he regrets playing like because he played in the Garden. No, he regrets not being a Knick and playing in the Garden because he feels that and that's as a visiting player, you could tell the feeling that you get. The Garden I don't care what nobody says. And this is crazy about the Knicks. The Knicks struggle so much to get talent here because people are scared. I don't care what nobody says. there's a lot of scared players out there. It's not just about coaching, like this unnamed number of NBA players that doesn't feel they want to play for Tom Thibodeau. Yeah, okay, there may be some truth to that, but Tom Thibodeau never really hurt any of his star players. If anything, every star player that has played under Tom Thibodeau has had good seasons, right? It's a whole nother thing about him getting the team to the next level. But the players have had good seasons under Tom Thibodeau. Does he run you down a little bit? Yes, he does. But if he has overall talent and enough players to choose from, guess who that helps? All the individual players on the team, because I don't have to play Jalen Brunson 35 minutes. I can go to this guy because I got him on the bench and I know he's a solid player, DiVincenzo. You know what I mean? Like, there's guys on the team that can help spell that part, because that's the biggest knock on Tom Thibodeau. He runs his players into the ground. But if he's got enough good, smart basketball players that he doesn't have to do that, that's one thing you could take away from his negatives, right? So my point is, yeah, that's the only way I can look at it. JJ Reddick says that he wished that he was a Knick and could play at the Garden. And, you know, you get a lot of sense that players around the league respect what the Garden is. You know, you heard, even though it's kind of New York related, Theo Pinson asking Donovan Mitchell, how was it to play in the Garden in that playoff game? And, you know, Donovan was like, it was incredible. Just them freaking doing the national anthem. He couldn't, the way the building felt, it was incredible. And that's from an opposing player who, of course, we know he loves New York, but still, like, that's the feeling you get. And there's a reason why the Jordans, the Kobes, all these guys, the Steph Currys want to come to the Garden and light it up because they know the stage is like no other. Right. So what's you guys' thoughts on what JJ Reddick said about wanting to be a Knick and play at the Garden, and not just, you know, in reference to him, but any player and that feeling that it gets? Staffo, what's your thoughts?
Wow. I mean, that's a very bold statement by JJ Reddick to come out and say that. The Garden is just a polarizing place to play, man. It's, you know, we call it the Mecca of basketball. You know, guys love to come out and play there. You know, we have the whole stars come out, you know, every night. You know, we got our Knicks mascot. What's his name?
Spike Lee.
Spike Lee. You know what I mean? You know, we got, you know, when we was in the playoffs, we got Aaron Rodgers coming out there. You know, we got the whole stars come out to Madison Square Garden when the Knicks are playing. And then even as a player, you know, coming to the Garden, everybody wants to show out. Everybody wants to get a record in the Garden. You have Melo, you had Kobe, you had LeBron, you had Michael, you know what I mean? You had Reggie Miller, the one guy we love to hate, you know, when him and what's his name was going at it and he did the choke move, and you know what I mean? It's just so much iconic stuff that happens in the Garden. Is like, yo, I want to play there one night. You know, even Donovan Mitchell talking about it after you know, he got his butt whooped. It's like, you know, they had asked him the question, what it was like to play in the Madison, you know, the atmosphere, you know what I mean? The crowd was just into it. It's just electric. You know what I mean? So I could feel what JJ Reddick was saying. You know what I mean? It's definitely an honor to put on a Knicks jersey and represent that franchise. You know, RJ Barrett dreaming of playing as a Knick. You know what I mean? You even see he's gone, but he had a Spreewell jersey, Obi. You know what I mean? You know, and many others, you know, that grew up wishing to play in a Knick uniform, and you know, still holding that pride. You know, as we say, once a Knick, always a Knick. But New York, man, the franchise is just iconic, man. The building itself is just iconic. You know, the Willis Reeds coming out with the injury. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
The Bernard King coming here, and you know, just Clyde. You know, it's just the Bush. We could go on and on and on. I don't want to, say everything, but New York, man, it's just one of those places where, if you in the NBA, you will want to come here and play. That's just how I look at it. And it's a shame on KD to say the things that he said about New York, and the Knicks ain't cool no more. I don't, that wasn't cool. But, as you said earlier, Ron, New York is one of the richest guys on Forbes right now. So, it is what it is, and as I say, we sell out every night, regardless if it's a losing season or not. People boycotting us not to come to the game because they ain't a good product out there. You know them. So, yeah, man, New York, man, forever. So I can feel what what's his name is saying, JJ Redick is saying.
Yeah, no, I mean, I hear you, and I appreciate your take on it. Like, salute to the chat once again. Morning Brew Sports Network in the building. Salute to you guys, my guys, Phil, Hector, and my guy Jigga Man. Listen, man, if you guys look, I don't know what to tell you. I don't care who you like. I don't care what sport you're into. You like something, they're covering it. Right, the network is there. They cover the Giants, they cover the Mets, they cover the Jets, they cover the Giants. Did I say that already? Yeah, I did. They cover the Yankees. They're covering the Knicks. I mean, like they're covering everything. So there's something for every fan out there. Please salute and show love to them. Subscribe to their network, because I'm sure there's something for everybody. And I know that I think they're about to start covering the WNBA as well. So there's definitely something for everybody. Shout out to all you guys. Also, shout out to D-Ras. Salute, D-Ras. Hope you're doing good. I forget your saying, clove and ginger and, I don't know, monkfish. I don't remember what it was, but I know that it was something. Quiet Money. Salute, my brother. Rebuild NYK in the building. Salute. Appreciate you as well. Damn it. What was I going to say? There was something I was going to say in regard. Oh, before you guys speak, Andy and D, I wanted to read, what else did he say here? So, this came up because JJ Redick was being interviewed by Henry Lundqvist. If you guys remember Henry Lundqvist from New York Ranger fame, a very, really talented hockey player. He said, now I have two very close friends, Josh Hart and Jalen Brunson, that are on the team. So I go to their games and I'm a little jealous of them. Josh in particular, he came in mid-season and now he's become a fan favorite. So, yeah, it's the beauty of what the Garden brings, man. If you do anything, it's magnified at the Garden. It's special. A lot of people they joke about the Knicks fans sometimes, and we joke a little bit about the fact that the seats are always sold out. There's a lot of corporate entities there, but there's also some real fans that go to the Garden and they appreciate what they see out there and they show the love and respect. It's a raucous atmosphere and you love it. So let me go this way. D, what's your thoughts on JJ Redick stuff and just how it is, for players playing in the Garden, especially that are successful?
Yeah. I'm going to keep it simple. And I'll say it just as D-Raz said it. Shout out to D-Raz. He's got a lot of knowledge on the body and holistic understandings and health and stuff like that. Shout out to him. He said it best. Who cares? I don't care, bro. Good for him. I'm glad that he feels that way. He's shown nothing otherwise that would make me think that he had any type of desire to want to do that besides that comment. But good for JJ.
But, the flip side of it is some people were like noticing this offseason, why all of a sudden is JJ Redick talking more about the Knicks? And then JJ Redick is talking about Quentin Grimes. And then 2 weeks later, we see JJ Redick working out with Quentin Grimes. So on the surface, it's something like you're like, okay, it's just another player talking about the Knicks, especially at this point, who can't help the Knicks because he's retired. But in the end, maybe some of that admiration for the Madison Square Garden and having players on the team that he's cool with is what facilitated him to work out with with Quentin Grimes and give him some tips because he wants him to improve. And if in the end, if Quentin Grimes has a really good season this year, you can kind of point back to this JJ Reddick thing being a part of it because he has been a little bit of a help with them. I'm not saying you give him all the credit because Quentin Grimes works. I don't want to take nothing away from that young man. And just working on, you know how many times I much rather you show me a highlight of Quentin Grimes' footwork and his defensive stuff rather than seeing some guy like Mitch take a 3-point shot. I don't need to see that. But watching Quentin Grimes show his footwork. Too? Yeah. Quentin Grimes is working. Quentin Grimes is working. So gotta love it. Anyway, Andy, thoughts?
Yeah, just to
I wanted to rebuttal because that was
my fault.
Sorry, Andy. That okay, and if he's playing himself for an NBA job to get with a team and is maybe bridging his connections and stuff like that, that's fantastic.
And he might be the next coach. No,
I'm about to say, but imagine that would be Tim's replacement if that happens. But anyway, I'm just saying that it's those type of things like players do that where they're like, I wish I was here, and they do those things like in those fluff pieces to give it more meaning and. To attract the reader to the article and stuff of that nature. But and as far as with Quentin Grimes and JJ Reddick, how many weeks has he worked out with him?
2 days.
Yeah, that's not.
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry. Go ahead, Aaron.
No, I'm just gonna add to what you guys said. If I am correct, I think JJ Reddick lives in New York, and it was living in New York when he was playing in the NBA in the off seasons. That's why I think he has, a little bit more love for the Knicks, and that's normal thing. To add what Staffa said, I think the Garden has that aura, and I'm not only talking about the NBA events. I'm talking about concerts. I'm talking about plenty of other things that happen there. WrestleManias and those events, entertaining events. I think those like Staffa said. Those things have magnitude. You feel different when you go to the Garden. You see those, wallpapers, posters printed on them, and there were like tons of iconic moments in the Garden. And even when you enter it, you just, history was made. This history is made here. I think that has something because if it only was about the fans, I could point you guys several arenas in Europe which the fans are way more crazy than the Knicks fans. They boo teams off the court, home teams, away teams. They really violent compared to what happens in the NBA. And they literally end games after fans collapse on the court and stuff like that because they just rush it in because they don't like the product and stuff like that. So there's plenty of things. If you guys go on YouTube, go to Belgrade and watch what those fans do. Those fans literally come into the arena, they turn their back to the court, and they jump and yell and scan the whole game for their team. They don't even watch a second of the game. So that shows you the whole another level what love they have to the team. They don't even need to watch the product. They're just gonna fan blindly for them, right? And that's the other thing. And I think it was because I saw the clip, Ron, and I think it was like everyone would say that, right? And like he said that he's jealous about Josh Hart because he like gained the Knicks fans' heart and is a fan favorite. Listen, we all remember Steve Novak. He wasn't that much superstar kind of player, but every fan remembers Steve in the best way. He couldn't defend a lick. Obi Toppin was a better defender than him. But you remember what you got only positive memories from Steve Novak. So JJ was thinking like, if I can make like 3 threes from a corner in a win in the fourth quarter, I would probably be a legend in New York now. So I think that was only about that. That there wasn't anything double decked that I want to get those clicks and stuff like that. I think it was just a friendly interview and stuff like that. Nothing
right.
nothing bad from JJ. And I love his podcast, by the way. I think he brings plenty of insight from the backstages of the NBA, how teams work and stuff like that. I find it awesome. So
yeah, I agree. And like I said, I'm not reading just so we're not reading too much into this. Yeah. It's just positive. Like instead of continuing to ESPN it and talk about the negative that the Knicks franchise has under them, I like to talk about the positive too. And I do notice that as much as Knicks fans, we've clamored and wanted respect for our franchise, not that that they've earned it, but they haven't done anything wrong lately. So they shouldn't be looked at negatively. They should be looked at positively. So it's good to hear that, yeah, we can't get the superstar. Oh, yeah, but the teams are thinking about the Knicks. The Knicks are in a lot of conversations that they weren't really in before. Like the Knicks are always brought up these days lately. And I'm starting to see that more and more. And you can't hide it because you got guys like, Julius Randle that are playing well. And then Jalen Brunson being here and is putting more of a microscope on the organization and how they are succeeding, which is great. Now, just wanted to say to Knicks 100, I don't know. I mean, I just want to say, like, JJ Reddick wasn't the greatest player in the league. He's not a fantastic defender. But, I mean, listen, 50, 40, 90 is 50, 40, 90. That's still something that a team could use. If he was playing, it would be great, and we could take him for his talent. But if the Knicks had a 50, 40, 90 guy right now, like in this last playoffs, maybe things would have been different.
Probably would have been getting 30 mil.
Yeah, well, that's another thing. Yes, the money would be definitely. But
and also, average players have gone on to become great coaches as well.
Right, and I actually think over time, I could see JJ Redick becoming a really good NBA coach. I mean, it's the same like a guy who you would think has all the X's and O's down, like a Jason Kidd. He struggled being an NBA coach. Then he finally kind of figured something out. Now he's kind of back at that, can he figure out how to make something out of what he's got? But, there was an improvement there. So sometimes it takes a little while, but if he gets an opportunity, he might be very good at it. Got to see. Shout out to Cully in the chat. Good to see you, my brother. I hope you're doing well. It's been a minute. Jay King is in the building. Salute, Jay King. Thank you for being here. I don't know if I've seen you too much in the chat, so if you do, appreciate you. Salute. Hit that like button. Oh yeah, guys, hit that like button for the show. I said I was going to be a little bit more, intrusive with you guys and mentioning the like button because the likes have been, lately all the likes need to get back up. They kind of been wavering a little bit. So if you could hit that like button, show YouTube that we here, we exist. And we're rocking. I'd appreciate that. Thank you. Hit the like button on your way in. Hit the like button on your way out. Either way, just hit that like button if you want. No pressure. If you don't want to hit the like button, that's different.
No. Hit the like button. It helps the brother grow, and it's free.
Yeah, and if you don't hit it tonight, you can hit it tomorrow.
Well, that's true too. That's what No, I can't say that. Sorry, not gonna do it. But that's a good joke right there. But anyway, So there were a couple more things. These are not they're not topics. I'm not putting them up there for us long-winded conversations. I just wanted to throw them out there just because there were things that were going on, and I wanted you guys, if you've seen it or if you know anything about it. First off, Kevin Knox' younger brother Carter Knox. Do you guys know about him?
No.
Carter Knox is a bucket. This boy is bad. He is no Kevin Knox, folks. This boy is bad. I can't even believe it. I'm watching this kid is bad. Like, he is a bucket. He's aggressive. He's dunking on people. He's crossing you over, putting it behind the back. I'm like, who is this kid? He definitely is not Kevin Knox. And I hope that he continues to do that and continues to grow. But, sometimes you kind of get people pigeonholed in the family thing, like, oh, if he's like his brother, he ain't gonna have no heart, no motor. Oh no, Carter Knox got a motor. Now I don't know.
Is he playing for college? Is he playing for college, high school?
He's high school. He's high school.
Okay.
But what that kid got game. I'm like, this ain't Kevin Knox's brother. I couldn't even believe
what position he plays.
Same thing, like shooting guard, small forward. He's got
shooting guard. He's 16 on the ESPN top 100 coming into this season.
Okay,
just look out for him. Look out for him, because I'm like, this kid is like, okay, but obviously we need to see where it goes. But I'm just saying, I like the fact, and I always wonder about lineage from siblings. Does he already know what his brother has done? Does he know the knocks on his brother? Does he say, you know what? This is gonna push me. I'm gonna do, this is what you think that this family is like. This is the Knox family. I'm gonna take it to the next level and show you that I have my own game. I stand out. You know what I mean? I will see, but I do definitely like what I've seen so far from him. He's got a long way to go, but the kid plays with some heart and some passion. So we'll see. Because the only honestly, we always say this: Kevin Knox has talent. He may not be the greatest defender, but he's got an ability because of his height to defend. But if he just had played with a little bit more fire in his belly, if that motor could kick in, who knows how good Kevin Knox could be as far as having a nice NBA role that he can be respected and represent a lot of different teams. But anyway, I just want to throw that out there.
Kevin Knox was a 5-star recruit.
That's what I'm saying. He was.
That ain't easy to do, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah. So, yeah, interesting. Oh, shout out to Parrish Duggar. Thank you for the generous super chat. He said, JJ for president. I mean, the next head coach. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, listen, it is what it is. He can't do no worse, can he? Of course he can. Tom Thibodeau is the man right now. Don't shortchange what he's done here. I'm just saying, I want to give him some flowers because I'm hard. I'm really critical on Tom Thibodeau. So I'm giving him a break right now. But if he starts getting back into my doghouse, you're gonna hear it. Believe me, it ain't gonna go nowhere.
Facts.
So the last thing I want to say before we get out of here, because I'm gonna treat them with the same venom I give them with their nasty list when they do something I don't like. But I just want to, in case anybody wants to know, Bleacher Report put out their top 100 list, and 4 Knicks made the list. Jalen Brunson is number 36 on the top 100. Randall is number 55, and RJ Barrett made 91 on the list. I'm surprised he even made the damn list.
That's a disrespectful list so far, bro.
But I can't even believe he made the list. Okay, and then Josh Hart came in at 99 on the list.
Oh wow!
So there you go, guys. The Knicks players actually made a Bleacher Report list. Can you believe it? Yes, it happened.
Brunson at 36. That's disrespectful. Even Randall at 55 is disrespectful.
That's how they treat us, man. That's how they do us. They underrate us. You know what I mean? And then when we start making noise, then that's when they want to give us our flowers. You hear Kendrick Perkins now? All of a sudden, he's the biggest Knick fan. All of a sudden, Stephen A is the big. All of a sudden, Stephen A is the biggest Knick fan, and many others that come along with them. Please give me a break.
But listen, I like to throw Kendrick Perkins just a little bit of bail because I like it when he goes back and forth with these people and puts them on the spot. Whether or not you believe if he's really a Knick fan now or not, or they're just doing it because
even Richard Jefferson
about ratings. Yeah,
isn't
like
even
I
him.
said, even with him, he's the same way. And you know what? To be honest with Richard Jefferson, I think he respects the Knicks and what they actually do out there on the court and what the front office has done and the coach. I don't think he likes Knick fans because we call him out on his crap. But it is what it is. It is what it is.
Ron,
so let me get
Perkins has the worst takes on that ESPN.
Oh no, I don't doubt it. I just like the fact that he goes back and forth with them when it comes to the Knicks. That's it. Right. Yeah. I like because no one else does it. That's all I like.
I got you.
No, I was never as a player, and prior to him saying anything about the Knicks, I was never a big fan of Kendrick Perkins. I think he says a lot of dumb stuff sometimes, and he backs it up though. He believes in it. But
before you wrap it up, because you're gonna wrap it up now, right? I have one question. Right? Let's make it quick, rapid fire. Right? Who this year, because there are some log jams.
Evan Fournier.
Stop. Who this year, right? Because of the log jams, right? Who is going to see a reduced role in minutes this year? Because it's got to be one of them.
Wow.
If you had to pick one name, rapid fire, who you go with?
Oh,
RJ.
wait. Well, I already have my name, but I don't know. Like, he's already getting reduced minutes, so let me not use him. Yeah.
Cool.
All right. I was gonna say Deuce, but Deuce already gets limited minutes. It don't matter.
Yeah, he's not even part of the 9-man rotation.
Okay. All right. So if we're really looking at who actually, I'm gonna say RJ.
Wow. Okay.
So I'll say Grimes.
I would love it to be quickly, but I think it's going to be RJ.
I agree with Stafford. And Stafford, when the hell does that happen? We hardly ever agree. Quentin Grimes. I think Quentin Grimes is in a weird situation.
Yeah, me too. I feel it too.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's still going to win the starting 2-guard position, but as far as closing, I don't think he's going to close most games. And I think that's where the minutes is going to be lost out. Also, too, if he's not putting up shots and making the shots when he gets the opportunity, I think that's where probably Tom might just pull him.
I also think, too, he's going to fall to space where, like, if he's not shooting well, I can see Tibbs having a quick neck and looking at Dante or Josh.
Yeah, definitely.
Even when I think that, well, Dante's a hell of a defender, but I think Quentin defensively is might be better out of the group, but I just think he's in a weird situation, and I think that with the Knicks looking to capitalize on from last year, I hope Grimes comes out balling. I really do.
But you know what might hurt Grimes is because he has a lower contract too. They're paying DiVincenzo way more money. They're paying Hart way more money than him, and he's a young guy that if he gets relegated to the bench, he can still work his way back up in a season or two. Meanwhile, these guys are like here to get the ball. That's why.
And it's a now thing too, because we're not as young as people try to appear that we are.
Yeah, right.
And, Brunson's going to be 27. I think Julius turns 29 this year, if I'm not mistaken, or 24. I mean, Josh is going to turn 29. DiVincenzo is 26. So we're not as young as we think we are. And there is kind of like an immediate kind of like, let's see where this team is going, where this crop is going, and see what we're going to do it on top. But then I think guys like Grimes and even Emmanuel quickly to a certain degree, because Dante DiVincenzo can't play the backup point guard. He is more than capable of initiating an offense and working to pick a roll and stuff like that. So it'd be very interesting.
Yeah, and just to say one more thing, I would love quickly to get reduced minutes because, like you said, DiVincenzo can help out with just bringing up the ball and going through the offense. But why I said RJ is because he might be the most inconsistent out of the pack, because you're not expecting great shooting for Josh Hart, but you know what he's going to bring. You're not expecting, plenty of things from DiVincenzo, but you know what he can bring, and he's going to be way more consistent, even if it's a lower tier number. But he's going to be consistent, and Tiz will know what he can get from DiVincenzo. So if RJ starts the season as usually really bad, that's why I said he can get reduced minutes.
That's fair. Makes sense. That makes sense.
Point, Andy. Here's my thing. Here's my only pushback, Andy. And I'm not saying your thinking is correct. My thing is that he's our small forward. And we don't really have a prototypical modern NBA small forward that we could do stuff like that. And they may want to rotate with Josh, and they may want to rotate with Dante DiVincenzo. But I'm just saying that on a good percentage of nights, you're going to be going against small forwards at 6'7", 6'8", 6'9". So I'm not sure how that will work if you do delegate them, because then we'll be really small on the basketball court. So I do wonder about that, but you could be right.
So that's a topic for your show next week, Ron. Quickly, son.
Oh man. Oh. Well, it's definitely going to come up. It's going to come up. We're going to be talking about it, I'm sure. Ashley, Wiz, should I say? I don't know. I mean, listen, if anybody wants to go ahead and predict who they think they're going to see in the FIBA finals, you're welcome to say it. I have no clue right now. I haven't watched enough, and I just think it's a disservice and unfair for me to say that when I haven't put my effort and time into watching the games to really scout other teams. I will say that I think it is going to be somewhat competitive because of the fact that when we come into these games, don't forget, USA, Canada, France, none of them, I mean, they were all favored, but they weren't the favorites. Like Spain was the favorite for a reason.
Yep.
So you got to look at it like what it is. These teams come to play, and this is a big like for USA. This is another chance to compete and keep our name at the top of a list. For other teams, this is a chance to keep their, put their country on the map and put more eyes on what they got going on. They play basketball all year round, and it's the same people that do it and kind of keep their teams together for the most part. They don't have NBA aspirations or the ability to just jump over and come to the NBA. So they're with these squads and they're playing together. This is their professional sport. This is their moment. So it's just looked at differently. I don't know. You guys have any thoughts about who do you think the FIBA finals will be? I
think it should be done, Ron, in a week because the bracket isn't filled yet. It's too many steps that teams can fall out, and sometimes matchups is going to matter. So I would do this next week. So. Right. I agree. So shout out to everybody once again. Thank you guys for showing up and showing out today. You have been fantastic. We got a great panel. Andy, D's World of Hoops, Stafford Don showing up. And really having a nice spirited conversation has been great. Shout out to you guys in the chat for holding it down, showing your love and support for the show, smashing that like button, putting your questions out there and your own takes. Yes, appreciate that. As you can see, I pinned, I got a new channel. It's called Keeping It Ron. It's a reaction channel. I'll be reacting to a lot of different things. Right now it's music. But that's kind of like what you guys know I love music, so it's kind of my thing.
It's the
R&B. If you're into that thing, you know it. If you're into that thing, please support the channel and show love. If you're not, it's okay. This is a Knick channel right now. I don't expect you to. But if you're into it, because that, the whole point of me doing different things is to stay on topic and keep with Knick stuff. But the Knick stuff is Knick stuff for the moment. You know what I mean? And I want to be a part of something that's a little bit more evergreen, universal. You can watch it at any time. Like if I review a new song that just came out this week, there might be 3 years later, some young kid sees the song. Oh man, I wonder if there's any reaction reviews. Yep, it's there. See what I mean? It's always there. It exists. It lives. So yeah, definitely if you could show some love and go subscribe and like, comment. Now this is something you can get your girlfriends involved, your wives, your kids. Well, not depending on what the music is, but anybody can like that stuff.
Ron.
So yeah,
they said H-Town was better than Jodeci. Is that true?
Okay, listen. So back to what I was saying.
Hey Ron, CO asked to throw up the link again for that channel.
Oh, I pinned it, so it should be there. But I'll put it
on top.
Yeah, it should be right on top. But here, look at it. There you go. That's it again. So yeah, that's going to be that channel. And also, before I get out of here, now, granted, this is really the blurb I use for the show, so it sounds like you just watched the show. But anyway, check it out. I also, guys, we got the NBA wrap up on Thursday nights. So take a look at this. Thank you for watching the NBA wrap up. If you would like to be on the show and you are a hip hop artist or a beat maker / producer, please hit us up. Email us at the NBA wrap up at gmail.com or DM us on Instagram at _NBA_wrap_up. And stay tuned for more and more content coming from the NBA wrap up. Still Knick fans, nothing but Knicks. Please support our shows. We appreciate you. Later. All right. So yeah, once again, guys, I love to say, tell a friend who tells a friend who tells another friend. Still Knick fans, we'll be back again, whether it be on Saturdays for Know the Ledge, Monday nights at 9 p.m. for SKF Weekly with Ron and John. And Jose is back, folks. If you don't know, Jose is back in the building. Or Thursday nights at 8:30 for the NBA wrap-up, which is the new show we're doing on Nothing But Knicks, where it's a half and half show. First part of the show is the NBA. Second part of the show, we're getting into hip-hop and origin stories of our guests, and also how it relates to NBA, because we're getting them, their takes on NBA stuff, and if they have any, special moments with regards to the NBA and hip hop. And then we're asking them to, submit a track so we can listen to it and perform a little acapulco as well. Acapella, that's for the people who don't know. So definitely tune in and show some love. We appreciate you guys. Let me get around to everybody for the last word. Staffa, any last words, my brother?
Yo, just bless up to the whole panel. Andy, D, welcome back. Ron, it's always a pleasure to come on here. I appreciate it. Shout out to the chat. And just it's Labor Day weekend out there in New York, the Caribbean Festival. So y'all be easy, take it easy, don't drink too much. All right, just be safe. And
I promise that, buddy.
Hold on, I'll be out there. Yes, that's me near the beach.
So just y'all be safe out there on the Eastern Parkway, man. Peace and love to everybody, man. Heart of love, Staffa down. Bless up to everybody, man. The chat, cool.
Yes. Andy, thank you once again, Staffa. Andy, your last words, my brother?
Yeah, Ron, like always, pleasure to be, on with you and the rest of the all-star panel that we had today. Too bad we didn't speak that much about Fournier, but maybe next time. No, joking, bro. It was a pleasure.
Thank you, man. Always a pleasure to see you, Andy. And you know what? It's been a little while. I know you take some time off before you really get something, but, we might need a little international Andy segment coming up soon, especially once we get to the FIBA finals. Maybe around that time you could do something. Okay. I don't need any credit for that. That's just throwing it out there.
You beat me to it, Ron. I was going to tell him, Andy, you ain't got nothing coming up? Is this going to tell me?
I'm waiting until the Team USA slips. Then I'm going to be on them.
Patiently waiting. Okay.
Cully, my guy, once again. All right, D, what's going on with you? And welcome back once again.
Appreciate that. Yeah, no doubt. So I just dropped a 3-part series on YouTube Shorts on why I thought Josh Hart was overpaid. Okay, so you guys should go ahead and check that out. If you guys haven't checked that out yet, you guys are more than welcome on the show on Monday or something. That's what you want to talk about as well. On Monday, I'm trying to go on. I'm reprising the time at 12. So Monday, I'm going to be on at 12. If anything changes, I'll let you guys know to the community. But most likely, that's where it's looking at. Monday at 12. I want you guys to get on the community page, right? And I want you guys to text me back or give me feedback. Like, what is it that y'all want to talk about exactly? I want to talk about what y'all want to talk about. I want to talk about the topics and discussions y'all want to talk about. So I definitely wanted that feedback and to go ahead and talk about those things. I also have a couple of new formats with the show as well. So I'll be letting you guys know in the community exactly how that's going to go down and, what are the rules and regulations to that and different formatting ideas that I thought of over the summer. And, and we'll just do it like that. But we're back. Look, I think we're starting camp. What's today? Second? Starting camp starts in 3 weeks, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
So we're right here. That's a blink away. So we're definitely going to talk about what we think about rosters and stuff of that nature. That'll be more for shorts. I want to leave lives more for you guys and for you guys to go ahead and talk about what you want to talk about. On the shorts, I can talk about whatever the hell I want to talk about all day, and I'll do that. So that's really what I'm looking at right now. But Monday at 12. Yes.
Okay, cool. And to answer that question, seriously, it's like, I know staff is saying it, but it's Jodeci without question. It
shouldn't be a discussion.
Jodeci is the answer. We shouldn't even bring it up. It shouldn't even say it.
I know that would have egged his nerve. That's why I said
it. Gotcha.
And yes, on my channel, you're gonna see a lot of Jodeci stuff. I'm sorry, it is what it is. But look, if you're looking for something new, like the MC such and such with the newest track that came out yesterday, and don't look for me to review that. I'm just letting you know. Maybe if it's really hitting and I like it, but it's an R&B thing. I'm not reviewing hip hop songs. It's R&B stuff for the most part. So just keep that in mind. And then maybe I may review some other stuff because I do like reviewing cooking stuff, like these channels where you try different dishes that you've never tried before. So I may do some of that too, but whatever. But it's about R&B music, and I hope that one day I can use this as like a portfolio to get on some R&B station. So I'll be on at 11 o'clock at night. You're listening to Rum, Smooth Grooves, and I'll be playing something, some Cut Close or something. So whatever. I don't know. All right, guys. Yeah, I'm not giving you no dance moves, Ashley, Mr. Wiz, just like I don't want to hear you sing anymore. You know, with some things that just don't need to happen. Okay. Even though I got my smooth R&B shades on, you know, nah, no dance moves, brother. All right.
Not
well,
crazy.
I thank you guys once again for being here. This was a great show. Happy Saturday. And to think, you know, yesterday I was like, should I do the show tomorrow? What is there to talk about? But there's always something to talk about. But I got to tell you, the panel, having you guys here today really made it worthwhile and made me appreciate the fact that I did come on today and not take this one off. So thank you guys for being here. You definitely made it worthwhile.
You already know, man. You already know.
All right. So, guys, thanks. Smash that button, that like button on the way out. Stay tuned for all the Knicks content. For still Knick fans, from D's World of Hoops, from Nothing But Knicks, from Dope Soul Sports Talk, because Stafford Don is usually over there giving his takes. And also keep in tune with, you know, my new channel, Keeping It Ron Reactions. Show some love, man, and we'll go from there, man. We'll just keep doing it, you know. All right. We out of here. Have a great one. Enjoy the rest of the Saturday because the weather is nice. It's going to be a hot one in a couple days, but right now it's beautiful. So definitely get out there and have some fun.
Definitely.
We out.
Peace.
Peace.